Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Track Limits Racing. We are here for round number 2 at Okayama International Circuit. Logan, Phil, welcome back to the booth.
Hi.
How's it going, man?
Doing pretty fantastic. How are both of you?
Good. Good.
Yeah.
Ready for another day of racing.
Yep. Doing well. Okayama is probably going to deliver some spicy meatball via Japan, but
It likely will. Last week, we got to see the introduction of a new class, GT3s, into the format that we've had for the past couple seasons, as well as the lovely introduction of Logan to the booth. To change it up a little bit this week, I have dragged Cricking and I think Screaming, last I checked, Ethan Hamlet, the GT4 Pro winner from last year and current head of the championship for GT3, to ask a couple questions real quick on the new edition, how the class fits in between GT4s and LMP3s. And things of that nature that we, feel like asking for a couple minutes here before the driver's briefing, so we don't hold them too long. So, Ethan, welcome to the booth. How are you liking GT3s?
Hello. And so far, GT3s are pretty nice, especially the new tire model. They feel really nice to drive now.
Fantastic. Are they faster or slower with the new tire model?
With the new tire model, they're roughly almost half a second a lap faster.
Fantastic. Logan. How do you feel, and what question, I guess, do you have for Ethan for this new class in the new edition here?
How do you feel like you guys are handling the P3s and the GT3 traffic? How is that going for you guys in race?
With the GT4s, it's kind of roughly the same as LMP3s, dealing with them, mainly just more chaotic because there's a lot more of them now. But then with the LMP3s, kind of with us GT3s, it's kind of unique because they're only really faster than us kind of initial acceleration out of a corner and the high-speed corners where they have more downforce, but almost everywhere else now we're roughly same pace.
Nice.
I'm kind of curious, Ethan, what with the introduction of the GT3s and it being a reserve class for folks that have been part of the community for a long period of time, how are you getting on with the other GT3 drivers?
I think getting on pretty well. I guess with Gab, especially with Gab, like he's been getting some good pace recently. Like had a fun battle with him at the start of the Daytona feature race, and everyone else kind of, I guess, getting used to the GT3s. Yeah.
Good stuff, man. Do you think what do you think of your chances for continuing your trend of championships here at Track Limits? Do you think you got GT3 on lock? You feeling confident?
I'm feeling confident, but looking at the practice times, Nick's getting pretty close, so we'll have to see.
Good stuff, man. Thank you for that. Thank you for the answer, sir.
Yes,
Yep.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. I'm going to get you over to the driver's briefing so that way you're not too late, and then we will see you out there on track.
Good luck,
All
sir.
right.
Have a good race, man.
All right. Well, I hope we give you guys a good show.
Awesome. Thank you very much for your time. And that was Ethan Hamlet from the new GT3 class and that new edition. Quick rundown for those of you who are new to the channel and coming in for the first time. We have a heat feature format. We have hello, English? Just run off with my sentence while I'm trying to talk. It's fine. I didn't need it anyway. We have a 20-minute heat race followed by a 70-minute feature race. Quick 5-minute break in there for us in the booth to kind of chat about it. And limited fuel for all of these classes, 50% for both LMP3 and GT3, and GT4 is at 45%. Now, as we're diving into the second week, we have championship stuff to talk about. So,
Oh boy.
Phil, do you want to take us through the LMP3 standings going into round 2?
Yeah, sure. Pull those up real quick and have a quick chat about LMP3. So LMP3, not seeing any results yet.
What?
Oh, something's weird on my end. I'm gonna switch to your feed real quick.
Okay, cool.
No. Yeah, I think it's on my end. It's on my end. I think it's a skill issue on my end. Anyway, Mike Bowen, newcomer, currently clocked in first place with 52 points, giving Jaden Ledbetter a run for his money. Hopefully we won't have any GT4 crime from Jaden this week. But Vincent LaRue, not out of it, only 9 points back from Jaden. And I think Michael Lively is gonna keep the pressure up as well. Him and Scott Fleming, not far out of it. We still got a lot of races this season to get to. I mean, just looking at the point totals, to be quite honest, we've got so many strong drivers in LMP3 that I'm really just excited to see how the season works out. But races that I'm looking out for, of course, we got Bowen and Ledbetter at the top. Vincent LaRue's not too far behind, but I'm watching Brandon Vincent Squibb and Scott Fleming. I think Scott's got a little bit more pace. It was a tough race at Daytona, but did manage to get some good points. So I'm just interested to see how that works out. And then we've got a couple of other newcomers in the LMP3 field, which are cool to see, and returning fan favorites like Chris Turner and the hardest working man in sim racing, Mark Coyne, both sitting 7th and 8th respectively. So yeah,
fantastic. Sounds like it'll be a type championship from the sounds of it across.
And I'm really hoping so. Yeah, everybody seems to be quick, and I'm really hoping so. So,
yeah, it's been a pretty tight margins we saw during practice as well. Logan, GT3s, how are they shaping up? I know we just talked about them a bunch, but what's the championship running looking like?
Well, GT3s, we have Ethan Hamlet, who was just in here with us, and first with 55 points, and close behind is Gab Chavez, who has been absolutely crushing it on speed lately. He's in second with 49. Then it's Kyle Potter at 45. Retro Coffin is at 41 points. Tommy Kogan is in fifth. Bruno Clemente is in sixth. Kerry Nolan Jr. is in seventh. Anthony Newman in the Ferrari is in eighth, tied with Brandon Potts in ninth and Sean Sullivan in 10th. They all have 31 points.
An interesting three-way battle for the last position in the championship so far. I'm excited to see where that battle goes for who will come out on top in 8th and actually probably move a decent ways up. Real quick, it looks like we got GT4s heading out onto the track. So I'm going to go through a quick rundown of GT4 Pro, followed up by GT4 AM. GT4 Pro, Henry Garcia technically leading the tie to Tyler Turville. Both are tied for 50 points. So I think we say this every time, Phil, but always interested to see where the GT4 Pro and GT4 AM championship standings. There's always something really tight going on in all of the important positions, as well as all the way through the grid. You know, with margins after those first two only being separated by a point to 2 points from from third through sixth. I think that's there's a battle there for the podium in general, and that last step in particular is going to have some very specific fighting. Tanner Schiffner, Nathaniel Runman, Lee Wu, Matt Pyle, plenty of points for them, and if they have good results, I think even here they'll be bouncing up the order very rapidly. Mike Gillant, Ryan Buchanan, Eduardo Zamora, as well as David Coulson, our biggest grid so far. It also includes Zachary Fisher, Jameson Leckenbecky, and Austin Green are the 13 drivers that have scored points so far at Daytona. And last, but certainly not least, the GT4M drivers. Christopher Blue. Phil, what's up?
No, I was just confirming. Yeah.
Yes, okay. Christopher Blue on top, 30 points. Only 1 point away from Oscar Brown, who is currently in second. Todd Turville is in third with 25. Another group of cars with small point margins, both of those for the top 2 points, much like GT4 Pro. But, there's actually a point there instead of just tied for first. But still, 25, 24, 23, and 23, another tie there for Todd Turville, John Newman, William Lewis, and Rodrigo Souza all have so many points to play for on those as well. But let's not forget, David Schneider and Dave Lively, who round out the GT4 AM category. I feel like we've been blitzing through this at a mile a minute today.
Well, we got a lot of cars to get through. So
true.
I mean,
we did have many cars to get through.
Added a new class, maxed out all the other ones, so many cars on track here. Speaking of many cars on track, let's take a quick ride along, I think, with Steve in Wallace, who I think is currently on a flyer as we get into qualifying.
So with qualifying underway now, I believe they get they get the full 10 minutes now.
Yes.
They don't get just three laps. They get the full 10 now. So interesting. We're going to be seeing some times coming in here soon. I know we've got a few that have already pulled at least 2 laps, but might need to get a time on the board. It looks like maybe we might have Tanner Schiffner and a few others should be coming across the line here pretty soon. But yeah, this onboard looking pretty good. Foggy conditions. Visibility will be not too bad. Stephen Wallace clocking in with a 34.6. Pretty good setup. Although, oh yeah, go ahead.
Immediately dethroned by Henry Garcia, and then dethroned by Li Wu, currently topping the timing charts by 200ths. Less than 200ths if you get into the thousands between Li Wu and Henry Garcia. Tanner Schiffner also setting in times. John Newman, I don't think, unfortunately. Oh, John Newman does set a time. He's our first GT4 AM to set a time, setting a blistering pace of 135.411, only a second behind our GT4 Pro leaders. Logan, as someone who drives these a lot, are you excited to see the distance between these cars in terms of one lap pace, or are you hoping to see where consistency takes them in the race?
I'm sorry, I did not understand that.
You're okay.
I am excited to see them run well. I mean, the AM class I usually try to keep my eye on because that's the class I would be in. And I know there's a lot of good racers in the GT4s and Pro and AM who are just amazing. There's consistent drivers. There's guys who are not all that consistent. But it's going to be interesting to watch.
I think I do like watching the GT4 AM class as well because I do. It's another one of those communities where, you know, we try our best to provide good quality racing for basically everybody at all skill levels, which is I think something really cool to see. I think especially at a track like Okayama with the GT4 AMs, they're going to have their hands full. This is a short lap. We're talking a minute 24, minute 25 for the LMP3s to go around. So traffic's going to be a thing, especially when we get a billion cars out there. And also just the nature of Okayama and its structure, I think, is going to lend itself to some pretty spicy traffic management on screen. So definitely keep your eyes peeled to the stream because I think we're going to have action from corner to corner all the way around. But yeah, I'm interested in the GT4 AMs as well.
I feel like
I'm also interested to see what happens in some of the, like I would say probably like Sector 3 complex when we start getting the LMP3s and GT4s mixed during the feature race.
Yes.
Be interesting.
Speaking of,
Revolver is going to be hard for everyone. Who's slowing down? Kieran Davidson is slowing down going through the straight.
So that is the track map with just GT4s on it.
yes, you were speaking about sectors. I was like, what does this track map look like when we only have to worry about GT4s? And the answer is it is very busy. And I don't think it's going to change. It's unfortunately
looks like a petri dish.
It does look like a petri dish that's been left to simmer for a few weeks.
Yeah,
and it's got movement. David Coulson setting the last time on the board at a 136.78. So a little bit of pace there to find for him in comparison to the rest of the field, if I remember correctly. But we'll see where he stacks up. He only had one lap so far. Tanner Schiffner dethroning Li Wu at the top by 100th of a second, and Nathaniel Redmond getting ahead of both of them with a 134.11.
Spun, and 34. Souza just got loose coming out of last turn.
So an unfortunate pair.
Can we talk about something fascinating here right now? And that is the gap between Nathaniel Redmond right now all the way down to Tyler Torville, because we're talking 0.5 separating the top 7.
Poof.
So
yeah,
it's gonna be an interesting race.
That it certainly will be. With only a few say a few hundredths actually separating most of these cars in between one another, and like you said, 5/10 from first down to, really William Lewis is like the only one outside of those.
Yeah, it's pretty. The pace right now, especially in GT4 Pro right now, pretty crazy. And William Lewis also just like that 34.8, making a statement there in AM. Christopher Blue not that far off. It's gonna be an interesting heat race. So with the heat race setting the grid for the feature, I wonder how many LMP3s we're gonna have starting behind the GT4. Anyway, so it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. So I think we're getting close to the end of the GT4. So we should be seeing. I think the GT3s will be queuing up here soon to get out on track. What do we see from the quali results so far, guys? I mean, for me, other than, I'm looking at GT4 AM right now. And we've got quite a spread from the top to the bottom. 34.8 at the top with William Lewis, and I've got Todd Torville with a 36.18, I believe.
Todd Torville for GT4 AM.
Mm-hmm.
I did some laps here in the Porsche this morning, and what was I hitting? I was at a, sorry.
You're okay? I'm seeing William Lewis.
I was at a 37.2, so these guys are absolutely flying compared to me.
That's very fair. It seems like a track that once you really nail, there's a few sectors, like sector 1 here is one that you get right, and it's just, have a rapid lap getting through these first couple corners, really knowing how much pace and how much slip angle you can employ on these cars before losing it going into turn 2 specifically, is where a lot of people seem to get a lot of time here. William Lewis going 0.3 faster than Austin Green in GT4 AM as the top of my timing sheets.
Yeah, it is. I think it's a tough lap. I think momentum's kind of key around here because you got some curves like Atwood before you hit the back straight that if you kind of like bottle the entry into the corner, you're just gonna lose so much time going through sector 2, and then you're not gonna be able to recover it in sector 3 because it's all low speed after that. So looks like we do have some GT3s out on track with the GT4s.
Mm-hmm. A few GT3s are currently making their way out as the last of the GT4s make their in-laps off of their final flyers for the couple of them that still want to set better times. Nick Alvarado being the first of the bunch to make their way out. Sean Sullivan, as well as the rest of the class, slowly filtering out as well. I was going to say, when we get to the start-finish straight, I was going to hope to hop along board with Nick Alvarado. I haven't really talked about it a ton. Interested to see how much this one-lap pace for the GT4s across the board translate into consistent lap times, especially when the other classes get involved. We kind of are in this vacuum right now where it's all the same class.
Yeah,
that is.
I mean, the other thing that's going to be interesting too is how are the GT3 tires going to perform? Because we got the new tire model. How's that going to perform over the full length of the feature race? That's going to be also interesting.
Absolutely.
So Nick Alvarado taking turn 1 pretty cleanly, and he's getting set up to go through. Oh, never mind. Now he loses the back end, getting ready to go into Williams, and he's in the wall. He's going to have to reset and see if he can get something working right now. So that's going to put him behind the 8 ball a little bit.
Yep. Let's hop on with Tommy Kogan. Who is also working his way.
Who is not in an Aston?
He is not in Aston because we don't have an Aston GT3 model in iRacing, unfortunately.
I'm never going to get used to that.
Yeah, he's in a lovely Corvette. As he comes down to, let's see, this is always one of the most awkward corners for me to take.
Atwood? Yeah, this is what I was talking
about.
Awful. Yeah, you bottle the entry of this, and then you just lose speed down the straight all the way to the hairpin. And then when you get to the end of Sector 2, Revolver, Piper Corner, and then Redmond, it's just all low speed stuff. So by at that point, the lap time's gone.
Yeah, there's definitely not a lot of, I think, good ways to make up lap time that you lost early in on the lap here in the second and third sectors because of the way how technical that nature is by comparison to kind of the faster initial portions. Yeah, you can see
Taking the double hairpin section. I'm just trying to maximize this corner exit. What is this corner like, Finn? In because I know you race mostly in TCRs here recently. Have you done much GT3 racing at Okayama?
Not recently. I did it a few seasons ago now for another league that runs a lot of GT3s. As Tommy Cohen comes across the line, setting the 5th fastest out of the 5 that have set lap times, but he's only 7/100ths behind Kyle Potter, and there is only a 2/10 gap or 3/10 gap between him and Gabe Chavez. Gab Chavez. Gab Chavez, however, is a second behind Ethan Hamlet. So,
But he's purple.
But he is purple.
He's purple.
So let's hop out of the onboard.
He's purple.
But
he's staying purple.
I don't want to curse him too much. But when I did drive here in GT3s, it's a lot of, like you say, so many low speed corners. So you're really getting to stretch a lot of the short stack gearing ratios that you can put in these GT3s. Hanging out in second gear through this, but it's, if you had strapped the FIA Le Mans, circuit gearing ratios, you'd be in first through all of this and maybe second. So it's all a matter of perspective there, and really nailing these final couple corners and really getting used to how much you can let the car kind of slide a little bit without too much problem, and keeping it together is always a rough piece for this. So, Gab Chavez
here
going
right to the
fastest.
top.
Yeah. Now, I'm super curious to see how much the rest of the field tightens up for GT3s. So I think that'll be a pretty good tell for where we'll see the action. I think really the feature time, heat race as well, especially with the fuel margins. So
Getting some comments in chat that your mic might be
a little crackly.
overloading a little bit.
Oh, well,
A little crackly.
Yeah, why don't I turn that down a little bit? I can do that. Yeah, totally turn it up. So, that's why. And now I'm too loud, so I'll de-loudify it. Hopefully that's
I'll make my sound smaller, guys. I'll make my sound shorter. Is that what I'm doing?
make it
So with the GT3 qualifying still underway, Gab at the top, Ethan 700ths, and then Retro only 2/10 out in the Porsche. Kind of interested to see how this is going to play out as Ethan Hamlet goes to the top with a 27.8, finding 3/10, 4/10 on Gab Chavez there.
Yes.
3/10.
3/10 it ends up being, as they all set green times as well. He's still not actually retro.
Showing his retro.
Yeah, he's still
R. Coffin.
Yeah.
He's not Mr. R. Coffin.
He's not Mr. Coffin, which I feel like he should be.
Yeah.
If I hit the buttons, maybe it'll fix it. Or it'll just air out the whole overlay. Well, either way. There we go. Now it's
There you go.
Nice.
That's our coffin. Sorry, I'll leave the puns at home. What's it look like right now for a lap of the track with maybe someone like Kyle Potter or Tommy Cogan right now? Or actually Bruno Clemente's 29.3, so struggling to keep up with Cogan right now.
We have Gob, I think, just went off the track. Yep, Gob just went off the track around coming out of what track number is that? Crap, last 2 corners.
Ethan
Sorry.
Hamlet- Oh,
No,
you're
you're good.
okay. Ethan Hamlet's still just getting faster. He's like, well, we had
Not
to
even
go.
just faster. That is 1 second faster. So somebody needs to bring out that bop hammer for the VTEC because it is maybe we should only give him 1 overhead cam and see how fast he is then.
The Acura, I find, is a fun, stable car. Every time I've been in it, every special event I have raced that car, it has been a blast to drive, and it is just planted all the time.
Only half the VTEC for Ethan. Yep, that's what I'm talking about. Just 1 overhead cam, and we'll see how the VTEC kicks in then. And yes, from Jaden's perspective, it does look like it might be a tough ask to get Nick Alvarado to set a lap time. But I believe in Nick Alvarado.
Ethan will set yet another faster lap time.
Well, he is yellow in the middle.
He's in the middle, but does he have a fast enough sector 1?
Okay. I mean, he does look like he is.
No.
He does look like he is really using all of the track. Like he paid for it. He's going to use it all.
Exactly. Sean Sullivan clocking in a time of a 1:30.78. So a little bit of work to do to find pace there. Tommy Kogan diving into the lane. Kyle Potter. We don't really get to see his car too much, I think, in iRacing officials anymore. So if I can hit the right button here. Let's see what the inside of a GT3 Mercedes look like. You saw a GT4 earlier. It felt like one Mercedes wasn't.
Nick Alvarado is coming across the start-finish line right now.
So hands up.
129.3.
I think
That's,
Kyle Potter is calling the lap a day after he ends up wide.
Yep. So, he did it for science. He proved his hypothesis. That is not the line. No.
Let's see here. Trying to see Tommy Hogan going back out to set another lap time. Thinks he can find more time there. He's only 1/100th faster than, not even 100th, 6,000th faster than Bruno Clemente. Yeah, it's definitely interesting to see how the drivers are finding a much different track to race on than we had at Daytona last week. And less successful with it.
Yeah, I think we are figuring out how punishing it can be to drive a short track inefficiently. It can be pretty punishing. So, but that said, I still am really excited about those margins up at the top, especially up at the top of GT4. Margins up at the top of GT3, not quite the same, but yeah, I still feel like there's going to be I think there's going to be a transition from single lap pace to race pace, especially when we get into that feature race.
Absolutely.
Nick Alvarado, 127.882. Brings him up to third.
Yep.
And as the GT3s round up their final laps, or in laps, we have a host of LMP3s making their way down, just flipping through all of them. Going along with him, I think, since Spa.
Yeah, it's probably last season. Yeah. So yeah, coming out of that final corner, rear end a little loose. Gonna lose a little bit of time going into turn 1, but we'll see how he handles it.
It's gonna be marginal because he didn't get off the throttle too long.
It is so interesting listening to him roll through the corner as he's going through Williams. And then, I mean, the S section and then going into Atwood, I mean, that's just basically flat out, and then getting into Atwood again. It's all about that corner entry. So down the straightaway towards the hairpin, and so with the low speed stuff, you were talking about this before the stream started. I think that this is the area where the LMP3s will probably make up some time on the GT3s because they can carry so much more speed through the low speed stuff.
Yes, yeah, it seems to be the way, and if we look at probably the sector times, you got a little more granular with it, you'll probably see that replicated in times there. But because of how much the aero that these cars have over their GT3 counterparts, they just have that pace and that room and that ability to.
So Jack is going purple in Sector 1, Sector 2.
Ooh. Oh, that's an off track.
Puts him, into an off track, off the line. But a lap around there looks pretty. Jack, no, doesn't say that was an off track. So it is qualified.
Nice.
P3 though, with all of that, it is fantastic. Like we talked about, I think when we're doing the championship standings, the amount of close battling we've seen in Daytona that we're going to, I think, see more of here is fantastic.
I mean, the gap up at the front, again, not that big. We're not, when I say a gap up at the front, I'm talking about like down to P6, P7 now.
Yeah.
Like it is, it's tight.
Scott Fleming topping the timing tower, finding that pace that he was lacking in Daytona. I think because of how weird Daytona is for the LMP3 specifically, and the setup adjustments you have to do to make that car really maximize its time on the straight and banked areas, ends up making it a very unique missile of a car. Does not turn much on missiles.
So I've got a point to make for when we get into that feature race later on. I think that drivers are really going to need to get comfortable with maximizing their pace, either short filling or doing a long stint. Because I think if you just go to the normal, like, this is how much my tank holds, I'm going to go to the end of it. When we hit pit lane traffic, that's going to be nuts. So I think the advantage is going to be you're going to have drivers that are going to either short fill, stop early, or they're going to try and run long to try and get around that pit stop traffic. Because I think if you're just like, I think if you just look at your fuel and you say, I see the number, I hit the number, you're going to have a bad time when you come in for your scheduled pit stops.
Yeah, I could not agree. I think that's going to be what we see a lot of. Is undercutting and overcutting. I think it's going to be a lot. And then we saw it a little bit last week. I think it's going to be, like you said, even more prevalent here. Is that fuel strategy, not for the fuel sake of it, but for the pit lane sake of it, and how that plays into the overarching battle for pace over the course of this. Brandon Vincent Squibb came home, if I remember correctly, last week. Fantastic.
Yeah, it was a good recovery.
Yeah.
Fantastic stuff there. Jaden Ledbetter jumping up to 6th. Mike Bowen only 300 behind Brandon Vincent Squibb, so not much room for error there, and only a 10th and a half behind them with Scott Fleming.
Yep.
So it's another tight grid here. I'm just smidgen flabbergasted.
About?
Just how tight things are by comparison to, I think, some of last season when it was
right.
Crazy for trying to one stop on a GT4. No, go for it.
No, if you can pull it off, do it.
Yeah, we have had crazy individuals make the one-stop work in some places. So,
Right. It was Aston Martin last season.
whoever is talking is
They
very
did
quiet.
one
It's
spot.
me. I just tried to turn myself down. All right, whatever. Sorry. Retro Crawford said, whoever's talking is very quiet. I'm like, I just turned myself down because I was too loud. Oh, my goodness. You can't win. 6 of one, half a dozen the other. Either way,
Yep.
Mike Bowen still sitting with 125.52.
I'm just going to troll Retro in the chat. It's all I know how to do.
See that?
As you should.
Yep.
I want to talk about these margins though, between first and ninth in LMP3.
Yep.
300ths, a tenth, another 200s, because Chris Turner just set a 125.202. 900ths from there to Mark Coyne, another 100th from him to Michael Lively, excuse me. A tenth between him and Gian Cardoso. Another tenth between Gian Cardoso and Jaden Ledbetter. It's not until Paul Miles that we have over 2/10 of a gap between cars.
Yeah.
This is going to be...
it's going to be wild.
Yeah. It's going to be
pretty good.
I think we're going to be spending a lot of time talking about the LP3s tonight.
I think so too. I'm starting to get that vibe. And with BVS up at the top in the 8.4, I think that 24.9, it's looking good. 24.95, 24.98 for Bowen. Can we get somebody else on the 24s? I mean, the 24 club seems to be like the place to be in LMP3. So let's see if Scott can squeak out a little bit more.
Yeah, let's see. He had the initial pace. He was one of the, obviously one of the first people up on the timing board to reach the top before he was, ever so marginally dethroned by Mike Bowen, and then followed by Brandon Vincent Squibb, or BVS. Are we going to keep that shorthand? I think it's a good shorthand.
I come up with nicknames. Sometimes they're dumb. Sometimes they're just acronyms. So that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do.
Understood. So BVS at the very top. It's a fantastic spot for him to start off the heat race. I think if he carries that and is consistent with his timing to keep that spot or a spot near the top for the feature, and then plays that fuel game round well, like you talked about, it'll be, I think, a pretty good done deal for him. But I think that becomes then a fuel game between him and Mike Bowen. But the heat race could throw all this into the air. We're talking about different people in that 5-minute warm-up period.
Yep. And speaking of which, we should be getting close to that warm-up period. But Mike Bowen's going in the pit lane now. Looks like we got a number of people going in.
Mike Bowen, Mark Coyne already sitting there. Michael Lively as well. Gian Cardoso.
Scott Fleming improves, but just ever so slightly out of the 24s.
Oh, he is 125.02. Calls it a day.
Yep.
And Gian Cardoso slides up into fourth. I think he got a little bit of the draft from Jaden Ledbetter right in front of him.
A little bit of team orders there.
Yeah, I was here. Definitely a teamwork of some kind.
Isn't it wonderful to watch a team that can actually execute the draft strategy?
Is this which F1 team are you calling out with that one?
I mean, I'm just going to call out Ferrari any day of the week.
Very fair.
Yeah. But yeah, now they got the draft going down into the hairpin. So with the draft being delivered from Jaden Ledbetter right now, everybody's yellow right now. So I don't know if this is actually a push lap or people calling it there. Do you want to give a quick shout out, if it would be okay, Finn, before we get to the end of qualifying? I just wanted to say shout out to Zorito Zam for the subscription with Prime. Thank you very much. And it's Tyler. It's Tyler 2, the sequel, for the follow. First Strike Cosplay as well. And then Gian Cardoso subbed again. He's been subscribed for 6 months. So shout out to Gian for that one. And then Twick AJG with the follow. So thank you guys for the support. If you are interested at all in anything that you see here, I would just recommend that you go check out the Discord. So !Discord and chat. Nathaniel Redmond with the follow, the legend running in P1 right now in GT4 Pro with the follow. But yeah, go !Discord, go check us out. And if you want to be part of the show, I believe signups. I actually don't know if we're closed now
close.
in GT4 or not.
I believe we are on a wait list at this point for any of the classes. For an LMP3 or GT4. GT3 obviously being an invite only. Doesn't have a wait list. So, but if you want to get on the action, we have a wait list available on the Discord. Either way, if you want to be any part of this, like Phil said, !Discord, go check it out.
Yep. And quali's over. We talked about those results.
As soon as they become results or a grid that I can give you, I would love to. But SDK says we're still in quali. So if I hit the button like I just did, it just takes everything away. So we're gonna go back to it. But true. I guess we could just start with what we have here on the last 3 minutes of qualifying. Brandon Vincent Squibb, or they're gonna skip it ahead for us because they heard us talking about how we couldn't use it for results.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
LMP3.
Never admit that the people that are running the things behind the scenes don't listen to us at all. We've always got to exert dominance. Anyway.
Brandon Vincent Squibb takes the pole for LMP3 for the heat race. Only 206,000ths behind him is Mike Bowen, Scott Fleming in third, Gian Cardoso in fourth. Both of those are going to be on the second row of the grid. Jack Wilkins in fifth. That's wild to me, given some of the pace we've seen out of Jack Wilkins. But again, I also remember it's only 0.2 difference.
Yep.
Still a slightly crackly mic. Volume is good though. Okay, so maybe it's just the mic. Maybe it's just my mic's jacked up. Anyway, we'll worry about that later. I'm reading a Discord, trying to figure out what's. So I've traded my iRacing problems for Discord problems. It sounds like, or for microphone problems. Anyway,
we roll.
We roll. We keep rolling.
We ball.
Yes, we do. Chris Turner, Michael Lively on that fourth row of the grid, and rounding out our 10 starters is Jaden Ledbetter in ninth and Paul Milo, our 10 LMP3 starters. So, with that, we'll throw it over to Phil. How is our GT3 grid looking?
I think everybody's going to be shocked to hear that Ethan Hamlet's on pole.
I am
flabbergasted. The team NA8 Mazda Miata is the best car ever with a 27.0. Top of the timesheets in GT3 with Retro Coffin, 8/10 behind in the Coral Cove Porsche. We got Nick Alvarado finishing third in qualifying with Gab Chavez fourth on the grid for GT3. We got Kyle Potter, Bruno Clemente on that next row with Tommy Kogan and Sean Sullivan 7th and 8th.
Fantastic. GT4 Pro, Logan, how's that looking?
We have Nathaniel Redmond in first. We have Stephen Wallace in second. Tanner Schiffner in third. Lee Wu in fourth. Henry Garcia in fifth. Tyler Torville in sixth. Matt Pyle in seventh. Dan Witzak in eighth. Austin Green in ninth. And Jameson Leckenby in 10th. Then we have Kieran Davidson in 11th, David Coulson and Edward Zamora bringing up the end of the GT4 Pro.
Fantastic. GT4 AM, our last grid as we get through our pace lap here. William Lewis taking pole on GT4 AM, followed by John Newman, Rodrigo Souza, Christopher Blue, Stephen McLean, Mark Robeson, Oscar Brown, and Todd Torville are your number of drivers. Those are words. Number of GT4. Your 8 GT4 AM drivers. There we go. We got there.
We got it.
We got there.
Yeah. Yep.
Here we go. It looks like we're about to hit the starting zone.
We are.
So let's get that racing info up as we get ready to go green. Heck yeah. And by the way, I haven't seen any shuffles yet.
I haven't either. They're coming.
Don't want to jinx it.
You think you might have jinxed it, but they might be coming.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yep. So looks like BBS. Oh wow, that is an LMP3 off.
So
that is Gian.
Yeah, that was Gian Cardoso, who rejoins right ahead of the GT3 start, which looks pretty close. but otherwise good.
So Ethan does not get quite
Nope.
the jump that we're used to seeing. Oh, and we have a
Job
sideways. Yep.
Sitting at the back of those. Daniel Redmond getting a great launch
One.
on Stephen Wallace. In
Look at all those
GT4
GT4s.
GT4 Pro. Looking down at GT4 AM. William Lewis getting a fantastic run. But John Newman not far behind. As we look through all of these cars, I'm doing. Oh, no. I expect to see. No, that's all right.
Oh, we got GT4 off in Atwood.
GT4 off Atwood.
Red, white,
Nope.
green
There we go.
car.
There we go. We got
Nathaniel
cars flashing. Nathaniel Redmond back to the back of the order. He's not going to be happy about that one. Let's go ahead and focus in on this LMP3 battle because BBS is not pulling away from Bowman.
He is not, but he's also not losing a whole lot of time. He has set the fastest lap of the race on lap 1 so far. So he has definitely got, I think, the raw pace for this going forward. But I think Mike Bowen is trying to keep the two of them on an island away from Scott Fleming, who is a second behind.
These are
Hamlet
LMP3s.
and
Go ahead.
so Ethan Hamlet and that is true. Ethan Hamlet, Kyle Potter into pit lane.
Yep.
What happened there? He's off track there. He went off track here. Spins it.
Oh, he just
Self
spun.
spins. Oh.
Oh, and into
then
the wall.
Kyle
That's
Potter.
unfortunate. Oh,
Unfortunately, locks it up at the same spot, and both tow to pit lane. We do have fast repairs on offer for these drivers to get them back in the race pretty quickly. Take a look back
Yeah, I
at the
wonder
top.
if they're just going to be waiting for the tow.
That would be my guess. So, taking a look at those two. Oh, Brand Vincent Squibb. Unfortunately, making contact with the wall, getting loose on that exit. He keeps it waiting for Gian Cardoso until he doesn't have an unsafe rejoin. And that car is looking pretty rough from that contact. Mike Bowen now takes over the lead of this race and has a healthy 2-second margin to Jack Wilkins, who has taken third spot on the podium, or now second spot on the podium, I should say, away from Scott Fleming.
So am I crazy, or is Todd Torville in the lead on William Lewis by a minute? Oh, there we go. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with William Lewis's interval right now. It's kind of all over the place. But that said, I just want to comment on how nobody that has polled is currently in the lead of this race in any category. Just thought I'd point that out. We don't get that often.
great.
Well, now
No,
William
no.
Lewis is back in first. William Lewis is back in first. So whatever was happening there has shuffled itself out. So William
Yes.
Lewis currently the only pole sitter currently in the lead of his category.
So the nonsense that has plagued iRacing before is still plaguing iRacing for me. So while we have most of these are correct now, but there are gaps sometimes. So
I think the big thing is it's kind of just like local to like pockets of the track. But that said, I mean, we're just gonna keep moving.
Yep.
It should be not a big deal. But yeah, Michael Bowen right now with that 2-second gap, 2.3 on Wilkins and Nick Alvarado. After the inconsistency that we were seeing out of Nick in qualifying, right now he seems to be keeping it nailed down pretty well at the front of GT3, and Stephen Wallace doing kind of what Stephen Wallace does in GT4 Pro.
yeah, it looks like it. Let's see. Yeah, Stephen Wallace is, I think, have a pretty solid run here. Has a second lead to Tanner Scheffler. after a put-in. I believe having a great launch there in GT4 Pro.
Got John Newman coming out of the pits. Is he involved in something?
Everything seems to be running along pretty normal right now. Just looking at the event list right now, we do have a couple of moments where people have gone off track, but nothing serious. I think most of those are just like small off tracks.
Right.
With Mike Bowen right now in the front of the field, trying to maximize his advantage right here as we are 6 minutes into our 20-minute heat race.
6 minutes in, taking a quick look through the GT3 field, very spread out from those initial kind of lap one incidents as they are working their way through. Taking a further dive through GT4 Pro. Looking at this battle here for fourth. Henry Garcia, Tyler Tourville. We saw them battling it out for the lead of this race at Daytona. They find themselves once again in a battle. Matt Pyle once again waiting, it looks like, for this battle to turn sour between the two of them, so that way he can just pick up the spots.
Yeah, I think a lot of this is going to be about... I think this is going to be a tough track to execute a good, clean pass on. So I think it's going to be really about trying to pressure the car in front into making a mistake. I do feel like Okayama is one of those tracks where people have a tendency to maybe misjudge some of the lines, especially when you start taking into consideration corners like Atwood or corners like Turn 2 going into Williams. But yeah, it's going to be interesting as we get into that feature race, and we've got Paul Miles, and he is crab walking to the pits.
He is.
Sure is. What is going on with him?
That is a gangster lean of a crash there. It's been logged on my system, but it is not something I have easy access to show. So whatever it was, was unfortunately.
We got William Lewis and who is that black?
Who is Eduardo Zamora?
Aston Martin. Yep, that is Zamora.
Self-spin for William Lewis to keep himself out of Austin Green's path. And then I think Eduardo Zamora has an incident here.
Self-spin. He gets rear-ended by a car behind him.
Okay, another two self-spins at Revolver there. You can see where he gets pushed there before the system kicks it back. Let's see here, Mike Bowen still leading the race, trying to get through GT4 AM and Pro traffic.
Looking good so far. I mean, this right here, getting established for that feature race, it's going to be critical to try and finish with the best result that you can. And we were talking about this before the qualifying got started, or during qualifying, but the short nature of this track in terms of lap times. LMP3s have already caught the GT4s in the heat race, so we're already navigating some traffic here in the LMP3 category, so it's going to start getting pretty spicy, especially once we get down towards Sector 3.
Yeah, especially the Sector 3, like where we're heading into, that you just mentioned. And Michael Lively here, right along with.
What a move.
Keep himself out of the corner there.
Ooh.
That was a very wise pass in terms of like execution.
Yep. I was make sure that GT4 that he almost had a quick bump into is still going the right way, but in the process, you're getting a great look here as Chris Turner is trying to keep himself glued to the rear bumper of Michael Lively.
Yep, that LMP3 from Chris Turner looks angy, very angy.
He's meanwhile trying not to run into Scott Fleming. Swap in and out of. I'm gonna swap out of the car. See if I can get to a nice wide shot here of all the cars that are currently trying to navigate this Sector 1.
There's a lot going on in this sector, honestly.
Yeah.
Yep,
Quick
this
But
look.
it looks like
this is
everyone's
what the-
getting it through pretty clean.
Yep, this is what I was expecting once we got those LMP3s to mix with those GT4s, which is going to slow them down. So that is going to lengthen the amount of time before they catch up to the GT3s, but probably increase the time that it'll take for the GT3s to catch to the back of the GT4s. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be this is fine. This is fine.
Yeah, it's all fine. It's all fine. Don't worry about it. Just a little chaos.
Who hasn't sat in traffic? Who hasn't sat in traffic?
Yeah.
here? I think that's fun, right?
Oh yeah, it's a blast.
So with the LMP3s again navigating through, Michael Lively, Chris Turner doing a pretty good job keeping this battle looking pretty hot while we're going through the GT4 traffic. I'm trying to figure out where they are in relation to the leaders at this stage, but
They are about 4 seconds behind Mike Bowen, who's
Yeah.
right now passing the leaders of GT4 Pro.
yeah.
As they've gotten through the last couple, Lee Wu right in front of Jack Wilkins, excuse me, who is, after a bad bit of traffic, finds his rearview mirrors full of a LMP3, Scott Fleming. He's come back to bring some more of that fight to these drivers, as Jack Wilkins has to pick a side to drive on. Taking a quick look back further to see where the leaders of GT3 are in relation to each other, since the line timing is going to show them a little bit differently. Nick Alvarado about 5 seconds ahead of Retro Coffee.
Ooh, we got Scott Fleming off in Piper.
That is
Revolver.
Piper keeps himself alive.
Yeah.
Pull up the actual replay here. Oh, fortunate.
Looks like that might have been a spin.
Yeah. Working my way back here. Yeah, he locks it up, trying to not run into Stephen Wallace there in the Buckies.
Oh, Stephen Wallace keeping his head on a swivel
Yeah.
as he manages to dodge Scott Fleming after that self spin. Oh, and then he starts to lose it again.
He's now with Brandon Vincent Squibb.
This is chaos. This is pure chaos.
Yeah. Keeping up with this battle for what is now P3, the bottom step of the podium on the heat race, as we are over halfway. We have 7 minutes remaining. And take a quick look. 2 seconds from Henry Garcia, Tyler Tourville to their respective leaders, but two of them locked in a battle there. Curious how the battle for the lead is looking. The answer is half a second between Tanner Schiffner and Stephen Wallace for that top step of the podium in GT4 Pro.
Cooking it.
So yeah, just taking a look through the others right here. I mean, Christopher Blue currently sitting 2 seconds up on Rodrigo Sousa. Looks like Ethan Hamlet's still working his way up through the GT4 field proper to get to the back of GT3. He's still got a little ways to go, but again, just trying to keep it to the checkers to try and see if he can just like squeak out maybe a position or two. Try and better his odds of recovering in the feature race. We're not used to seeing Ethan with an uphill battle. I think that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I think it is. It's going to be a very fun one as a result, as he dives on the inside of Rodrigo Souza, who I have to not get confused for Bruno Clemente, for that paint that is very similar to the paint that we saw Bruno Clemente run last season.
Yep.
Taking a look, Henry Garcia, Tyler Tourville, still on this fight. Jen Cardoso in the background and Jaden Ledbetter both trying to work their way through this traffic. Tyler Tourville trying to find an opportunity to take advantage of the lines that Henry Garcia is being forced to take as a result of this LP3 traffic. But as a result, ends up losing a little bit of time there too. Not much.
Ooh, the Ethan is moving his way up. Ooh, who is that yellow Merc? It's a yellow GT4 Merc off.
Rodrigo Souza, I believe. Oh
wow! Oh no, there
no.
is a massive
Oh
shunt
no!
Yeah.
right now. That was on the exit of Atwood. They get
Yes.
into one another. Who was that into the wall? Was that Oscar Brown?
Yeah, Oscar Brown.
Oh
Oof.
man, that is unfortunate.
Oofed him right out of existence.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully he can get the car back on track safely.
Let's see here.
Nah, he's going to take it to the
I
pits.
think he tows it to the pits.
That's right.
That is
move on that one.
unfortunate, man.
Yeah.
Oof.
Curious to see. So, Rodrigo Souza goes off track here. He is tipped off track by Kyle Potter, excuse me, and then while rejoining, super curious how that happened. Is Oscar Brown? Yeah, it's just looks like Oscar Brown moves to avoid Retro Coffin in that GT3 and ends up just turning right into Rodrigo Souza.
Unfortunate. Yep, traffic management here at Okayama is going to be a killer. It's going to be a stone cold killer. So you're going to have to take into consideration the fact that it's like you moving out of one car's way might put you in the path of another.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's going to be a tough one. But for those that get the luck, are probably going to get the spoils at a track like this one. So.
Yeah. Chris Turner and Michael Lively still duking it out for this final spot on the podium.
It's a drag race down here in turn one.
Yeah, it is.
Looks like he's trying to give him a little bit of a squeeze into turn one, but Chris is going to try and do the over-under,
the pace
or at least
there.
just take the straighter line.
Good defensive line from Michael Lively to keep Chris Turner behind him. Opted for that inside line into turn one, really used it to leverage a better exit out of turn one into turn two. That has kept him ahead for the moment, but as these two are squabbling, a second behind him, you can see him in the shot there, is Mark Coyne, who's working his way up to this battle. And Gene Cardoso only 2 seconds behind Mark Coyne for the spots, the last kind of couple spots here of the top five.
So in GT3, Gab Chavez trying to chase down Tommy Cogan in McLaren. Got a McLaren on his Corvette here with some GT4 traffic in front as they get ready to go through the S's. Margins are slim here between these two classes.
Some good heads-up driving from Tommy to let the GT4s know that the GT3s are making their way through. Riding along with the two of them, seeing when Gab is going to make his move. He's still kind of on a recovery drive, trying to fight for this final spot in the podium.
Tommy, I think, is just trying to hang on. Trying to hold Gab Chavez, who had better single lap pace in qualifying, but it seems like the consistency part is going to potentially work in Tommy's favor, and traffic is probably also dealing him a better hand at this point. But you know how traffic works in multi-class racing. It giveth and it taketh away. So, and he's going into the pits.
Last lap.
I'm confused.
Yeah, this is his last lap for Mike Bowen. White flag is out.
Interesting.
That
was right before the end of the race, too.
Yeah. Yep.
Strange. I wonder if he had mechanical issues.
I'm curious, or even
mechanical issues or fuel.
Yeah.
Oh. Ew.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be heartbreaking.
Or a drive-through.
Ooh.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Let's take a look. Where is Gab at? No, he shouldn't be. He's only on one off track.
Yep. While we're looking at that, Mike Bowen taking home the win in the heat race, followed by Jack Wilkins, 5 seconds behind him. Michael Lively rounding out the podium, successfully defending that position from Chris Turner and Mark Coyne. Gian Cardoso, Brandon Vincent Squibb, Scott Fleming, and then Jaden Ledbetter, and I believe
Paul Miles.
Yeah. Both of them rounding out putting their Paul Miles and lap down, driving along with the GT3 finishers. Nick Alvarado coming home, I think, on top of the podium there. We'll look at the official results here in a moment when we get them, as he's coming around the start-finish stretch to wrap up his lap. And 9 seconds behind Nick Retro Coffin coming home in P2. A fantastic result for that. Tommy Kogan successfully taking home a P3 there. While we're looking at all of that, seeing where Steven Wallace is. I believe he has yet to bring home, or he has just finished as well, excuse me. Tanner Schiffner right behind him, but still behind him.
Half a second behind.
Mm-hmm.
We got Lee Wu behind Schiffer.
What are y'all's thoughts on this heat race?
Oh my goodness.
Chaos? 20 minutes?
hot,
20
yeah.
minutes of solid chaos? Like that's like we're about to do this for another 50 minutes? So
Yeah, 70 minutes, not.
it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting. So
Well, before we get into
At
Saturday
least
Nights
there's
of
light on the
Chaos-
track.
At least there is light on the track. That does make it a little bit easier. Before we get into that chaos, we'll run down the heat results for all of y'all real quickly. In LMP3, Mike Bowen takes home the win with Jack Wilkins 5 seconds behind him. Another 4 seconds behind him to Michael Lively, who is the third runner-up. Chris Turner, Mark Coyne, Gian Cardoso, Brandon Vincent Squibb, our pole sitter, coming home in 7th. Scott Fleming in 8th. Jaden Ledbetter, Paul Miles are your 10 finishers for LMP3. Phil, how are we looking for GT3?
GT3, so we're going to have Nick Alvarado on the top of timing and scoring. Sorry, my windows are being weird. Let me get that switched back. It just minimized. Sorry. Skill issue. Anyway, so actually, I cannot see them still. Why?
I don't know either. Mine is also having issues with doing any of
I'm going to go to
ones.
the timing and scoring on my end. So
yeah, do that. Do that the right way, and then we'll see if we can get hitting the buttons. Will give us something.
yeah, give me a second, folks. I'm going to switch over to iRacing to pull up the results real quick. All right, so let's go to the heat race. So with the GT3 runners, Nick Alvarado on top with that with a really good finish after Ethan has some calamity on lap number 1 with Retro Coffin coming in second, Tommy Gogan in third. We thought the battle between Kogan and Gab Chavez would be heating up, but Gab took the pit there at the end. Not sure what was going on there. So Sean Sullivan's going to get the 4th place finish with Bruno Clemente. Gab Chavez in 7th place with Ethan Potter in Ethan Potter in 7th and Ethan Hamlet in 7th and Kyle Potter in 8th. Man, I'm struggling.
It's okay. I think everything is struggling for the moment. I'm trying to hit buttons here.
Yeah.
To even get the race info back up so we could just roll with it, and it's decided it doesn't want to show anything. So
Yeah, I just went into iRacing to pull up the results.
yeah, I'm just gonna restart. iRacing SDK, you are so loved. Logan, how's GT4 Pro looking?
So GT4 in general, we have Stephen Wallace finished in the first spot, Tanner Schiffner in second, we got Lee Wu in third, Henry Garcia is in fourth, Matt Pyle fifth, Tyler Torville, Dan Wizak, Kieran Davidson, Nathaniel Redmond, Austin Green, Chris Blue is coming in 10th, 11th. Leckenby is in 12th. McLean is in 13th. Lewis is in 14th. Souza 15th. And everything just reset.
Oh.
No, it's okay. Don't worry about it, man.
Souza.
One thing I did want to say, real quick about those GT4 standings that you were just calling out there, Logan. For the folks at home that don't know, we do have two categories of GT4 runners on track, but they're going to be intermixed for the feature race. So the points, there's going to be a lot up for grabs because we pay out GT4 points based on finishing order. So it could be pretty interesting, especially with the calamity that we kind of had there in the heat race. So I think we're going to have some pretty interesting, but it's going to be pretty spicy.
They're all mixed up back there.
Yeah. Well, this is fun. I'm trying to get this fixed. It doesn't want to get fixed. So
We have an LMP3 gridding up with the GT3s currently. Paul Mills is lining up with them.
I too also am starting to have SDK issues. It is freezing up on my end as well.
sweet.
Oh no.
Maybe.
So
maybe
I wonder.
if SDK's having issues tonight.
I think, to be perfectly honest, I think it's just the number of cars that we're dealing on such a short track. But I think it just
Right.
came back for me. So we're gonna hope for the best, plan for the worst. But if we have to switch to camera controls and do it manually, we'll figure that part out too.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. So if I hit the button,
I mean, we do have 39 cars on the track right now, which is a lot of cars on the track.
Yeah, we're getting ready.
Yep.
You know, thanks to everybody at home for being patient with us while we're dealing with technical difficulties on our end. But we're getting there. We're getting there. All right.
LMPs are at the start zone. What a jump Bowen got.
all right, I'm gonna see what I can do to get this fixed. I'll lean on y'all for the moment.
Yep.
Third. Ooh.
Give us 1 second. Set up. There we go. All right. We're getting it figured out. So with Nick Alvarado out in front here, getting a good start. There goes Stephen Wallace. He's got something going. It looks like we're going to have Stephen Wallace, Tanner Schiffner battling it out again, but it does look like we got Lee Wu lingering in the background there. Thanks, everybody, for being patient with us while we get the technical stuff sorted out, but the race is back underway, so should be pretty exciting.
Turner. Ooh, we have Davidson, Kieran Davidson spinning in Atwood.
All right.
I think that
I am
was a
just-
helped spin.
I think I'm just going to do this
Oh,
manually.
we got Matt Pyle out now, too.
Well, this is
Oh,
not
he might
a
have gotten...
fix.
Nope, that was him. He got stepped his foot out in the stones and turned it around. Damn. It's unfortunate.
Yep. Let's try that and see if I can get my cameras back, because mine was just straight up frozen. My SDK, every time I try to load it in, lose everything. So I think I'm back in now, and it looks like we're back into racing. LMP3's up at the front. What is Bowen up to there at the front? Currently running a 28.4 last lap. Currently holding about, what is that, a 9/10 gap on Michael Lively, with Chris Turner lingering in the background of the shot. BBS, after having a really torrid heat race experience, finding his way back up into 4th place, currently ahead of Mark Coyne. I'm just taking a look right now through the rest of the order. Back in GT4 land, Nick Alvarado in the 420 ahead of Tommy. GT3s. So Nick Alvarado ahead of Tommy Kogan right now with Retro Coffin in the background. And Bruno Clemente looks like he's going to try and salvage some good points out here. So with the tanks set the way that they are, we are going to have to deal with some pit stop shenanigans. And again, we were talking about this before the stream, guys. I don't know what your take is on it, but I do feel like a short stop or maybe a long run and not just planning to use your fuel tank based on the limits is probably going to be the play, because the traffic on pit road is going to be absolutely bonkers, especially when the GT3s and LMP3s go to pit.
Right. It's going to be a lot of traffic. I mean, if it were me, as soon as I got to the point where I could survive on one more stop, my butt would be in the pits as soon as possible. That way I can bypass all of that traffic that's going to inevitably be there.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. It's going to be so tough with the pit stops. And a big shout out to Finn right now, who's got the live timing table back online, working through those technical gremlins.
Man.
So, masterclass in working under pressure.
We're getting there. We're not perfect. It's not solid. It's not 100%. We still have, I think, a bunch of issues with some of the stuff, but everybody's back where they should be, I believe, for the most part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Doing the thing.
I think so. Mm-hmm.
Let's take a quick look here.
We got Kyle Potter spinning around in...
We get to look at it. I have it. It's on the second
of
the double hairpins. I do, yeah. And we can look at it.
This guy.
And he just
watch it together.
It's just a sad... It happens. That front end looks like it's still doing well.
Get recovered.
Yep.
Yeah. No harm, no foul.
Yep. We'll hop back over live.
Ooh, and now we got Bruno Clemente self-spitting coming out of Williams, it looks like.
Yeah.
We'll check up on that in a second. I'm kind of watching this battle between Jameson Leckabecki and Austin Green. Not super high up, but they are holding up a good portion of the GT4 AM field with this battle. Christopher Blue trying to figure out his way around it, along with Todd Tourville, Sean McLean, William Lewis, Rodrigo Souza. Sorry, Todd Tourville.
Holy cow.
That is a hornet's nest waiting to happen.
Yep. Only good things can come of this.
We believe.
Content. There it is.
Stephen McLean getting a great exit here. Small to Chris Blue having to... Austin Green not super happy with how all that shook down. A little way back up the order. Paul Milo. It's Jack Wilkins. What happened there? Jack Wilkins was doing pretty well on the start of this.
So we have got some high action here at the start, even with the classes intermixed a little already, just with the amount of calamity that we had at the start of the race. And while I say the amount of calamity we had, I don't really feel like we had a lot. It's just the fact that it's a minute and 25 around here in an LMP3 car. So any calamity, and you're basically, the classes are starting to mix together. So... Yeah. I mean, this is just tough. This shot right here with BVS going into Sector 3 right now. Is that behind? He's behind. Is that Chris Turner?
Yep, Chris Turner and
Turner.
Michael Lively, both of them.
Mm-hmm.
And this is this battle that we saw what was P3 in the heat, but now it's become P2 because I think Jack Wilkins had an incident early on in this one and ended up falling down the order a little bit.
Yeah, this is wild. This is a lot of action on track right now. It's kind of crazy. Not gonna lie. But yeah, it's
I think cars. That's cool. That's neat. I'm just having a blast right now. Everything seems to be working, and so I'm rolling with it.
Here's the thing, man. When it works, yeah, exactly. We vibing.
Yeah.
We vibing now. So thanks again to everybody, by the way, for tuning in for round number 2 here at Okayama. It's been great to have you. ! Discord in chat if you want to be a part of the community. Chat with the guys, follow along as the season progresses, and join the waiting list if you want to be a part of the season action. I am seeing some action between Chris Turner and Michael Lively. Looks like they might be locked in a little bit of a passing battle, as is Ethan Hamlet and Gab Chavez.
Ethan Hamlet, Gab Chavez. I'm going to look at this in just a second because I'm super curious. We were just looking at the battle for a couple of the positions in GT4 AM between Rodrigo Souza and a couple of those drivers. And right behind them is this battle that you just mentioned between Michael Lively, Chris Turner, Brendan Brown, BBS, hanging out in the background of it. So
yeah, it
bunch
is.
Of cars
it is heating up.
Yep.
Those guys were having a good battle.
Look at the traffic in the
sprint
background.
race too.
Yes, this is a battle that has not gone far.
Yep.
So, Ethan Hamlet, Gab Chavez. Let's see if I can find both of them here on the relative here. Take a look. They're still working their way back up from their respective incidents in the heat. Nick Alvarado sets the fastest lap in the class.
This is crazy. There's so many cars on track. I think Track Limits Racing comes to town for Okayama International Circuit, and we double the population of the Okayama Prefecture all in the same day. If you look at that track map right now, it looks like the thing is that track map right now. I mean, is it a map or is it just dots? Like
it's just a continuous line.
It is just a blob of blues and greens and some black and red colors too. But yeah, it's pretty crazy. And the LMP3s, again, mixing with the GT4s in here, and man, they are having to work with the smallest of margins.
That was a hell of a tap that Green gave Ledbetter.
Yeah, Austin Green kind of struggling to keep up with the rest of the GT4 Pro field, having a drag race with Christopher Blue, which while they will score points depending on where they finish in GT4 overall, it also doesn't give championship. It's not a championship fight between two cars. It's all of these LMP3s come roaring
Oh my
through.
goodness! Oh, here comes Mark Coyne.
They are putting on a show.
Let's see here.
It is something. A race is happening. It is.
There's about a second covering these four LMP3 cars. Paul Miles at the back of it.
I see Tommy Kogan registered as being off track. We are definitely having Toto. We had a motor race moment. It is something. Yeah, even in this slow part here at Sector 3 with the LMP3s navigating through the GT4 traffic, it is just such a traffic jam for them to be patient and try and find your line. More than anything, just commit to whichever side of the track you're going to hold and stay there. Because, again, it's just one of those situations where we don't want to run into, like what happened with like Oscar Brown, where it's like move out of the way of one car and into the path of another.
Yeah. Ethan
And
Hamlet
here comes Retro. Yeah,
trying to get past, just so you know, Ethan Hamlet trying to get past Retro Coffin. Retro taking that defensive line and into the double hairpin. Ethan Hamlet saying, okay, I'll just go around the outside. And that becomes the inside for the second hairpin. So a quick pass on Retro Coffin as Ethan Hamlet is working his way back up the grid. And Gab Chavez, not far behind still, also wanted to take that tear up the order. So now all Ethan Hamlet has to do is close the second gap between himself and I believe Nick Alvarado, and then he will be. So that's where Nick is going into turn 2. And these three cars, Ed Retro Coffin not want to taking it, lying down, wanting to keep up with Ethan Hamlet and keep this fight for the podium spots.
Yeah, this is gonna, I think, come down to what the pit stop's gonna look like in terms of strategy here, because that's going to be, I think, almost as important as trying to extract as much average lap time as you can around this short circuit. Just taking a peek also at the numbers right now, the next closest battles that we've got kind of on track happening right now, Bruno Clemente and Sean Sullivan. We've also got Lee Wu chasing down Tanner Schiffner. And another close one. Yeah, so the Lee Wu Tanner Schiffner battle is starting to heat up. I think Lee Wu had some. Yeah.
It also includes Nathaniel Redmond, and if you go back a half second more, Henry Garcia, Tyler Tourville.
Yeah. And Nathaniel Redmond's already up 5 spots from the start of this race, and after getting pole for the heat race and getting spun lap 1 of the heat race, trying to recover as many points as he can. I am seeing Mark Robeson and Rodrigo Souza both going off track. Again, I think that we're going to be seeing this sort of indication pretty much throughout the feature race.
Well, I think we're going to see a good number of those throughout. Nathaniel Redmond looking for that line to get past Lee Wu and potentially Tanner Schiffner. Just trying to find out. I think he has 2 options here. Either he pushes for the time, or he pushes for the fuel save and then just waits or hangs out with this group of cars.
If he catches up to Stephen Wallace, I feel it's going to be a heck of a battle between those two for top spot. But there's 55 minutes left, so anything can happen.
That is very true. Take a quick look back at the leaders as Mike Bowen has been reeled in by Michael Lively in this battle for second. It's slowly become a battle for first. Brandon Vincent Squibb at the back of this train has set the fastest lap of the race so far, and fastest lap of class by default, with the 125.15. So we're getting closer to the paces we saw in qualifying. Take a look at this 4-way battle for the lead.
Yeah, this is pretty crazy right now. LMP3 is kind of delivering on the promise of what we saw in qualifying, with the front of the field being super close. Jaden Ledbetter actually finding himself up inside the top 5 and not guilty of any crimes this race. So good on Jaden.
We are only 15 minutes in. He has only passed John Newman once. So
he has only passed John Newman once.
There are many opportunities.
I wonder if John Newman has like some sort of indicator in his car that lets him know when there's like, it's like cloudy with a chance of Jaden or something. So it's like just like what percentage? It's one of those like every time Jaden gets near John Newman, you got the Victor Drago from like meme from like Rocky, where it's like if he dies, he dies.
I definitely think John Newman has a very the Porsche GT3s have. I make this meme based off of those. The Porsche GT3s have a little indicator when there's a car behind them, a little arrow pointing in that mirror, the virtual mirror, kind of on their dash. And I think John Newman's has the normal one for all the other cars, and then there's this big red arrow, regardless of how close or far away he is, to Jaden in that rearview mirror, and it just follows him regardless of where he is, and that way he always knows where they are. I'm gonna hop Bruno Clemente, labeled as crashed. It looks like he just self-spun. Let's see a quick look back further.
Oh,
but it may be different.
Maybe helps along.
Yeah, he had some space to at least get the rejoin done.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Just a
self-spin.
Self-spin to do. Oh, that is no longer a self-spin. Goes to rejoin right in the line of Oscar Brown. Much more of a rough race for Oscar Brown than he had at Daytona last week. Getting caught up in a couple of incidents in this one so far. I'll take a look at this and see how far.
I have a few notes for GT3. It turns out that Ethan Hamlet is now 8 seconds off the leader and closing. So he's probably going to be. He's come up from the back of the pack to second place.
fantastic.
Showing Ethan is up 5 spots for the race. Paul Miles also up 6 from the start of his race. Jaden Ledbetter and BBS also kind of like in the mix now, with BBS still kind of close to that battle with Chris Turner.
Careful, Retro.
Retro Goffin doing a little bit of door banging with Austin Green as they're getting through the second hairpin. Now trying to get around Christopher Blue, who's currently leading. Do I have that right? Currently leading. No, Stephen McLean, who is right here, is leading GT4 AM.
Yep.
So
Newcomer.
He has the same paint job as Torvald.
gotcha.
I just need everyone to be familiar that those two have the same paint job.
Maybe
they're
here.
Confusing.
Talk
Maybe
to
their
Orville.
team. Maybe they're.
I think they are all on the same team. What team is that? We'll have
Probably.
to- I believe it's
Ace something.
Take a look at the GT4 Pro leader, Stephen Wallace, on a fantastic drive so far, still keeping about a second distance to Tanner Schiffner. Nathaniel Redmond getting around one of the 2 cars that he's been kind of in a fight with, but with that fighting overall, has brought back Henry Garcia and Tyler Tourville into this battle for the top 5 spots. GT3, we just heard back from Logan, and then LMP3 still has this fantastic battle for first with the top 4 drivers all vying for this top spot. Mike Bowen keeping about a half-second distance to Michael Lively. Chris Turner still on Michael Lively's tail trying to get around him. And Brendan Vincent Squibb, I think, is playing the fuel game at this point.
Oh man, I'm seeing a huge number of off-track indicators.
I am too.
Joe, wait, it's just excuse me.
Daniel Redmond.
This man's yawning.
Yeah, it must be really riveting for
It's been a long day.
Oh no, William Lewis. How did hitting the front end?
Did he get help?
No, I don't think he did.
No,
It was
he caught the grass on the outside.
Yeah, he caught the grass on the outside. What I'm flabbergasted by is the fact that he hit his front end and that knocked his rear wing off. I think he technically hit that hit the wall with the wing specifically. He went off. Nathaniel Redmond also labeled as an off track, but I think his is just he went on the grass. Yeah, he went on a little bit of a run in the gravel, but otherwise was fine.
So, want to comment on something really interesting right now, because I'm kind of curious. What is the gap right now between Ethan Hamlet and Nick Alvarado? 10 seconds?
We are at 10 seconds right now, so Alvarado opened up a 2-second gap.
Well,
2 more second gap on.
So yeah, he's got. It does seem like he's having some pretty decent lap times. I also feel like traffic is kind of like causing a little bit of push-pull. But one thing I did want to talk about that I think is going to be interesting to see, because we are how many minutes now into this race? 20? 20, almost 21 minutes?
20 minutes.
And Nick Alvarado's already got 6 off tracks to Ethan Hamlet's 1.
Yeah.
Ooh, drive-through is going to come into play here shortly.
Yep. So we're gonna wait and we're gonna check back in on that one, folks. Just taking a look at the data. How do you split the view between LMP3 and the top of GT4 Pro right now? I don't know, because it's kind of crazy.
Yeah. We'll wait look here for these 4. And then we go to the top of GT4 Pro, and it's equally as crazy. Nathaniel Redmond, getting real close with Tanner Schiffner.
Push that. Damn.
Tanner Schiffner.
Nathaniel Red. Go ahead.
I was like, Tanner Schiffner letting Nathaniel Redmond, I think, by because of the contact there and trying to keep the car going the right direction.
I believe that's going to give Lee Wu an opportunity to maybe catch back up to the bumper of Schiffner there. And I think Stephen Wallace is about to have himself a bit of a brawl on his hands.
Yeah, Bert. Oh no, I was agreeing with Phil. This is going to be a battle.
Yeah, I think it's going to make it. I think it's going to make it nice and spicy for GT4 Pro. I don't think there's any shot that anybody's going to get out of here without at least a little bit of paint missing from a door. I do clock in BVS with a axe.
Yeah.
I was just it was a self spin.
Okay, let's take a look at it since we have it available to us. Again, thrilled. Thrilled I get to look at this. But it is
We have the technology.
Jaden Ledbetter
Build him.
getting by here as a result. But not by much, because he is right on the tail there. So that 4-way fight becomes a 3-way fight. And Mike Bowen getting himself a little bit of breathing room. Michael Lively using the grass there, or really the gravel, I should say. And then cutting in on the inside of Sean Sullivan, who I think found an off track earlier himself.
Yeah. This is already getting interesting. GT3 traffic now coming into play, mixed in a little bit with these GT4 runners as LMP3s are trying to navigate.
Rodrigo Souza
I think
into
it's
pit
yeah.
lane? Did he die, or did he enter pit lane just out of his own volition?
I think he entered the pit lane au natural, as they might say.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So I mean, we got to be getting kind of close to the first
I would have
round
to
of pit
imagine
stops.
so. It was about that amount of time for round one. We've had no change in the fuel percentages, so I would have to imagine between 25 and 30 minutes is going to be our running for most of these cars as well.
Yeah. So with early pit runners, I mean, I'm still of the mind that you probably want to take the undercut early. Basically short fuel race start, undercut early. Get your fuel stop out of the way in the middle of the race. If you have to take a stop at the end, maybe take tires in your fuel stop since you're going to be sitting on the jacks for longer. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I'm kind of curious if anybody even takes tires here at Okayama. But people have been going off a lot on track and also been spinning a lot. So I think the
we got
chances are pretty high.
29 off.
29.
He came back on. Oh! He is into it with a tour bill.
Yeah.
Ooh!
I'm just seeing nothing but indicators popping off.
Blackaby and a tour bill.
That
It's
is,
green. Nope.
Let's take a quick look here. See if I can. Will you be kind to me? You've been kind to me so far. No, you won't. Okay, cool. Well, our kindness has been run out. Wait. Maybe it was.
oh, interesting. So I think that was maybe a little bit of a spin.
Nope. Yeah, it was definitely an off track of some kind, and then.
Yeah.
Well.
And then cars vanishing because iRacing things. So that said, I mean, there was a lot of off tracks that were just triggered right there. We had a crash with Eduardo Zamora.
He was with McLean.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
we had an issue. We had an off track from Ethan Hamlet, and then we had Zamora, Leckenby, Austin Green, all indicating off tracks. I mean, I'm counting like somewhere in the neighborhood of like 15 off tracks in the span of less than a minute. So it's pretty crazy out there.
Yeah, definitely looks
Last time we ran here, what was the incident count that we had? Doesn't the nighttime race at Okayama still hold the incident point lead?
I would not be shocked. I would not be shocked.
So I was part of that race. That was my first race, and it was black. It was pitch black the entire race.
You might want to tune in to. So we're tuned in with Stephen Wallace and Nathaniel Redmond, and the margins could not be tighter between these two. And we've got LMP3s filtering in through the background. So it's going to be interesting because we got, I believe that is Jaden Ledbetter and Gian Cardoso.
Yes.
With BBS in the background. So this battle's only going to heat up, and then
Too wide.
okay.
Steve Wallace holds
like-
on to it.
Taking that inside line.
Inside of him. Yeah.
Gian dealing with a little bit of battling between the front runners and GT4 Pro, each one of them boxing in the LMP3.
And BBS
BBS
behind him.
Takes a very wide
Yeah,
line to get
when-
around those cars.
Yep, because he's just like, you know what? I want to be far away from death when it happens. This is heating up in all the right ways. I'm still waiting to see when we're going to see some pit stop runs come in. We're about 27 minutes in, so we got to be getting close. That said, Mike Bowen on top with Michael Lively, Chris Turner, top 3 in LMP3. Yeah. And oh boy.
I pulled into them just at the right moment. Michael Lively getting caught up with some GT4 traffic, bringing Chris Turner within a tenth of where Michael Lively has been running up until this point. So it is a pretty close margins between these two. And the gap has regrown to Mike Bowen. I think GT4 traffic and traffic in general has helped that kind of give Mike Bowen a little bit of breathing room to Michael Lively here in the LMP3 field for the other 2 spots at the podium.
This is pretty crazy right now. Yeah, so Chris Turner, Michael Lively, that is probably the closest, although Mark Robeson, well, actually, he's losing some ground to John Newman now, but and then we got Nathaniel Redmond, and actually Tanner Schiffner now sneaking up in the background shot, it looks like.
I am watching that battle, and it is intense.
Yeah,
like
we're starting to get a little bit closer. Lee Woo's not out of it. Man, look at that move from Redmond and then Stephen Wallace with the reaction as they go into turn 1.
Yeah, just Stephen Wallace watching his mirrors at this point, trying to keep Nathaniel Redmond behind him, picking the defensive lines and still keeping pace there. Nope. Stephen? Did he die? Nope. He might have died.
I'm noticing that his car is not on track, and
nope. I don't know where it thinks it is, but wherever I try to switch to it, it just unloads the cars that are already there. That's iRacing.
Yeah, I actually think it could be an issue with that one might be an issue with Steven.
I believe so.
I'm gonna switch back over on my end to local control and just take a peek and see if I can see Steven or not.
Well, while you're doing that, I'm going to talk a little bit about how Mike Bowen won. Like we've been said about traffic being important, it also is equally hindering to some of our GT3 runners as Mike Bowen finds himself now in the crosshairs of Michael Lively with 2 seconds of a gap there. Stephen Wallace with a spontaneous PC shutdown.
Oh no!
Twitch chat. Stephen has hopped in to say that. Oh man.
Oh no, that sucks, man.
That does suck. Nathaniel Redmond has entered pit lane.
Yeah, we do have some folks pulling in right now for pit stops. It is starting to happen. I'm taking a peek right now. From what I can tell, so Ethan Hamlet coming in.
Okay.
So we got Redmond. We've also got Torville, Austin Green, Mark Robeson. I'm just taking a peek right now. So times to beat right now: 21 seconds on the jacks, 22 seconds on the jacks for Bruno Clemente, with a 55-second pit stop travel time overall. Redmond was in for 27 and a half and almost the full minute, with Tyler Torville clocking in over a minute in the pits as well. So just waiting to see what is Ethan actually going to clock in at. Ethan's he's just now approaching the pit exit. Chris Turner, BVS, both taking the pit stop in LMP3s, with Mike Bowen setting the fastest lap of the race with 25.07.
Yeah. Now that he got a little bit of clean air after being hunted by Michael Lively, he's like, I need to get out of, rebuild that gap that I was kind of nursing there.
Both Ethan Hamlet and Retro Coffin with 22.03 on the jacks exactly. Okay. But Retro Coffin coming out with a 52.2 to Ethan Hamlet's 54.8 or 0.08, excuse me. So
Okay.
Ethan Hamlet leaving a couple seconds on the timetable. Nick Alvarado's in the pits now. We're going to see how Nick's stop's going to go.
Yeah.
Still waiting to see the other LMP3 runners.
Take a look at.
And I'm seeing GT4s going.
Yeah, a little bit of everybody pitting, as a lot of the major GT4 frontrunners in GT4 Pro as well as GT4 AM, with the inclusion of John Newman, Chris Blue, and Stephen McLean all diving into pit lane as well. The frontrunners are Michael Lively, Jaden Ledbetter both diving in. Mike Bowen staying out, getting another lap on Michael Lively and them. Nick Alvarado still in the pit lane, 22 seconds on the jacks. And
Oh, we got Sean Sullivan spun around, looking like Hobbs.
Retro Coffin has jumped to the pits. What happened for Retro Coffin?
That is
Are
unfortunate.
those the same event?
So here's something wild. So Retro had a 22.03 on his first pit stop.
Yeah.
Gotta love them new cold tires. Retro Coffin had a 22.03. Ethan Hamlin had a 22.03. Nick Alvarado had a 22.03. But Nick Alvarado 54.1.
Okay.
Ethan Hamlin 54.08.
We got big stuff going on.
Yeah, that is. I see that right
Oh my
ahead of
God.
Nick Alvarado. That looks like Stephen McLean.
Todd Torville.
Nope, that's not. It is. Sorry, Todd Torville. Let's back this up. Just a second. Went off track. Gets tipped by Henry Garcia.
Oh,
And they come
That is
together
unfortunate.
there. And that engine looks like it's going to need some
painful.
love here in a moment.
He's gonna need towed. Oh,
Yeah.
nope, he's driving around.
He is taking it back to pit lane under his own volition. Mike Bowen, Scott Fleming, our last two. I assume Mark Coyne staying out another lap.
Mark Coyne going to try and do another one stopper.
Oh man.
Calling it now. The hardest working man in sim racing is going to try and do it on one fuel stop.
Hell yeah.
Oof.
So yeah, I'm watching LMP3 traffic. So LMP3 runners, Michael Lively, 23.58, kind of the slow boy, with the exception of BVS. BVS was on the jacks for 1 minute and 4 seconds. So he is running stone last right now in LMP3 and is going to have to make up some ground to catch Paul Miles. Scott Fleming with a 22.17, so that's pretty quick, but the fastest right now, Chris Turner, 21.5, fastest pit stop right now in LMP3, and the field is still working its way around and getting set with Bowen, Lively, Ledbetter, Turner being the current order in LMP3 once Mark Coyne actually does hit the pits.
That is what it's looking like. But I think Mark Coyne getting around Nick Alvarado. Tommy Kogan coming kind of to a halt in the middle of the road there.
Yeah,
Tommy has not taken a pit stop yet.
I wonder if he ran out of gas. And Mark Coyne dives in.
Yeah, I did not see that. Kyle Potter also has not pitted, but he actually makes it to the pit road.
Mm-hmm.
I think Tommy might have just extended a little too far.
Yeah. And then didn't save enough to make it to pit road after.
time to delete that fuel usage file. Restart
So,
all over again.
Mark Coyne in the pits right now. So Mark Coyne managing to get, what is that? 25 laps
25, yeah.
out of a fuel takes.
Mhm.
Yeah. So waiting to see what his pit stop time looks like, although he's losing a lot of time in the pits. 25 seconds on the jacks. That is like 3 seconds left on the table relative to your competitors.
Getting my better. Forcing the inside line to Michael Lively. Chris Turner going to capitalize it on it as well. It's a drag race now. These two have been duking it out pretty much
Oh,
the entirety
All
of
night.
this.
Chris taking advantage of a good opportunity.
Yep. And both continuing Oh, there's a touch there. I almost want to say for Chris Turner. Into the back of Jaden Ledbetter. Michael Lively getting back around. And they both go through. Chris Turner looking to get around. Oh, there's a touch there between Michael Lively and Jaden Ledbetter. Everybody keeps it going the right way.
Oh.
This is
Chris Turner's probably like, I'm just going to let you guys kill each other.
Yeah. Chris Turner's not like, I think
if Jaden's in the shot, a crime's bound to happen.
I would say, where's John Newman amongst all this? Let me take a quick look. We haven't seen John Newman. It has been turning pretty solid. Thankfully, they had just passed John Newman not too long ago. Bruno Clemente, however, unfortunately self-spinning, trying not to hit John Newman. Those two corners have not been kind to Bruno Clemente in this race.
No, the slow speed
so
stuff.
hard.
Yeah. Turning the traction control system into a dishwasher, it's just not a good place to be. Yeah, tuning back in now. Jaden Ledbetter in front of Michael Lively moving through the GT4 traffic, and William Lewis keeping his head on a swivel as these LMP3s move through, and that's to his benefit right now because William Lewis is sitting, what is that? That's 6 seconds ahead of McLean?
Yes, that
right
is
now?
6 seconds ahead of Steve McLean. William Lewis, Steve McLean. I'm hopping back to this battle I saw between Nathaniel Redmond, Tanner Schiffner, and Lee Wu. Tanner Schiffner came out ahead of Nathaniel Redmond after the pit cycle, it looked like. Because I'm not sure how.
So, would you guys like a fun fact about the current battle in GT4 AM? William Lewis currently 6 seconds ahead of Stephen McLean. Pit stop times. Let's talk about pit lane travel.
Yeah.
54.73 for William Lewis. 1 minute 0.8 for Stephen McLean.
Well,
so take a look at that gap, and I think we can look at the data and figure out where it came from.
Right. Someone took tires and someone did not.
yes.
Other pit stop times that have made this race kind of like a bit of a struggle bus, I think, in GT4 AM. Christopher Blue was on the jacks for 38 seconds and had a minute 13 in the pit lane travel time. Fast Boy in pits, I'm going to have to go with Eduardo Zamora, 18 seconds on the jacks. He did not take tires. He was 50 seconds on pit lane, and he's up 11 spots right now. So Eduardo Zamora is on a hard charge.
DHL.
Shout out to Andrew Salgado 88 for the follow. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. So we have the DHL fast boy for the DHL Fast Boy Award for fastest pit stop.
I mean, if it's DHL, I mean, that's kind of on brand because it's not only delivered fast, but it's basically like they drive up on the street and just throw the box to your door and then drive off. So it's like, yep, DHL, we get the delivery to you quickly. We didn't say we'd get it to you in one piece.
Well,
taking a quick look here throughout the classes, we have this battle here for third. To Michael Lively, Chris Turner, Jaden Ledbetter getting a good solid second ahead of Michael Lively, so that battle is at least cooled down ahead of him, so he's just worried about the car behind him. And this fight between these two drivers has been going most of the evening. Fantastic stuff there. Tanner Schiffner defending against Lee Wu, still trying to see if he can make up the time to Nathaniel Redmond after a bit of a shake in Revolver last time by. I think our first actual retirement. First, Todd Torville. Our first, one of a few. Retro Coffin has elected to retire the car. Watch some
Ooh.
Le Mans. Jason Leclerc. Oh my gosh. Michael Lively making it hard on Chris Turner. Chris Turner saying, no thanks, I'm going to go around the wide.
Chris Turner's off.
And he ends up going off track.
Ooh. I don't know if Chris Turner just missed the braking marker on the inside line or what, but that was deep. That was deep into turn one, and now he's got to navigate his way around Tanner Schiffner and Lee Wu
again.
And you can see Scott Fleming in the background.
Scott Fleming's always in the background.
Yep, Scott Fleming always looming in the background.
Yep.
Lee Wu getting around Tanner
At
Schiffner.
least when I was
maybe
when I was on the track, I knew that there was a handful of people who would always pass me clean without touching me. Scott Fleming was one of them.
Yep.
Oh my God, these two
He's
going
definitely
too wide.
Yep,
3 wide with Cap
Yep.
Chavez.
Oh man.
Lee Wu files in behind Tanner Schiffner. Tanner Schiffner.
We got Wizhack off.
Damn you, Zach. Zach. Looks like he's going the right way. Yeah, it looks like a self spin. Does it do I get to see it? I do get to see it. This is cool. Let's go.
Yep, coming through hairpin, he just loses it all by himself.
Gotcha. It's a
Again,
nice subtle looking paint. Oh, Paul Miles having to avoid that stopped Mercedes. Let's hop back on to
Paul Miles just shaved another year off his life. Pretty crazy stuff going on here. Field is spreading out a little bit, guys.
Yeah.
Closest battles right now, Gian Cardoso, who's working his way back through traffic. He's down 21 spots. Let's look. Mark Robeson and Eduardo Zamora. Well, now Matt Pyle. Taking a look at Tanner Schiffner, Lee Wu. That's the fight to watch. Jaden Ledbetter kind of has a bit of a gap on Michael Lively right now. So here's what could be happening here, folks. For folks that were trying that one stop, we're going to see here in about 30-ish minutes whether or not, well, actually, not quite 30-ish minutes, right? We're at 45.
Yeah.
Well, actually, to put that in perspective, for the folks that did pull the one stop, trying to think, let me look at, I'm going to check Mark Point out real quick because he pitted on lap 25, and we're currently 7 laps past that. So we're looking at somewhere around, what, 10 minutes ago they would have pitted?
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious to see if anybody's going to make it home or if we're going to need to have a splash and dash. I think with the field kind of spread out the way that they are, we're going to probably have to sit and wait till we get to that second pit stop to see how things are going to shake out. Kyle Potter actually is starting to get caught by, I believe that's Bruno Clemente.
Yeah, it is. Bruno Clemente working his way back up, trying to find kind of the pace. Has been, unfortunately, I think, caught out a couple times in some of those slower corners with that setup for the McLaren this weekend.
Yep, it do be like that sometimes. It is a combination of low-speed corners, traction control, and probably just sad rear tires. And like, you know what? We're just going to spin. We're going to do it.
Unfortunately, but working his way back up the order, trying to get around.
Mike Bowen and Scott Fleming off track.
Scott Fleming off track.
Not sure what happened there.
Well, they both go in the right direction, so must not be too soon.
Should we talk about off tracks for a minute? Because Jack Wilkins sitting on 11.
Oh boy.
Nick Alvarado's on 8. Ethan Hamlet's on 3. Kyle Potter's on 11. Bruno Clemente just clocked in his 9th.
Oh,
So
we
there
saw
are
it.
some people that are going to be at risk.
We are going to have some drive-throughs.
Yeah, that I get the feeling
There's
we're gonna
almost guarantee we are.
Yep. It's getting close.
What was happening with Mr. Blue? And I realized Gian Cardoso is just getting back through traffic after
Yeah.
the incident earlier.
Yeah, like I said,
yeah.
I pointed it out. I mean, he's
Yeah.
down 20 spots from where he started.
Jeez.
Talk about big winners.
Mhm.
We'll talk about big winners. Nathaniel Redmond's up 10 spots.
Yeah, he is cooking.
Nathaniel Redmond is 3.2 seconds ahead of Tanner Schiffner, and he is moving. His last lap was a 34.75. Although Tanner Schiffner's keeping pace with him with 34.6. But Lee Wu, Tyler Torville, 35.16 and 35.29 respectively. We could jump down to the AMs for a second. I'd like to tune in with Mr. David Colston for a minute. He's currently trying to hold off, I believe, Matt Pyle.
Yeah, it is Matt Pyle.
It is. I believe he's a GT4 Pro.
He
which
is.
on the low end of the GT4 Pros. But
Oh, yeah. Excuse me. Yep.
that's okay. But he is.
I keep forgetting how the GT4 classes are. Like, we've got the massive GT4 class and then 8 drivers in GT4 AM.
Yes.
So we've got the population. We got the population of Paris for GT4 Pro, and then we've got the population of a shed in Death Valley for GT4 AM.
Sorry, I'm getting nervous here watching David Colson try to defend from Matt Pyle and then see if he's also able to keep it with Eduardo Zamora behind him. So it's just a little scary. A little scary for a moment there.
Good GT4. Yeah.
See 2 cars go spinning.
Especially in the low speed corners, which have claimed many a soul today. So I'm curious, Ben.
Yes.
When was your last time racing around Okayama?
My last time racing around Okayama probably was 2023, late 2023, early 2024, with the GT3 League that I mentioned at the beginning of this. Since then, I've driven everything else but Okayama. I think the one time I was supposed to drive Okayama, I ended up having to do something else for one of the races or something. I don't know exactly when. I've not been here in a while, and I miss it.
We got some pit stop runners. We got Bruno Clemente going in. We got William Lewis going in. Mark Robeson's already out. Like, he was on jack for 10 seconds.
Man.
So that man got a quick sip of fuel and is back on his way.
Yeah. Jameson Leckenbecky also with a 8-second on the jacks from what I've seen for his
That might be the fastest.
second pit stop.
Gas and go.
Mm-hmm. A few more, I think, piling in here in a moment.
So with Tanner Schiffner right now trying to hold off Lee Wu, keeping that GT4 battle for P2 spicy.
Battle there, spicy. There's that battle. We have the battle with Eduardo Zamora and David Colson as well. The rest of the field, pretty spread out. Mike Bowen, 3 seconds to the good. Jaden Ledbetter, he's got a second and a half between himself and Michael Lively, who you see in the back there. Chris Turner, another 3 seconds behind both of them. So we'll see how the pit stop game shakes up these results so far. And when drive-thrus come into play, because I think the amount of off-tracks people are still getting, it's very possible that there is every opportunity there for drive-through penalties to be served, and that will probably shake up the game a fair bit further.
Yeah. Everyone's fun favorite game. Let's talk about Speed Trap.
Hey.
Michael Lively current clocked in at 246 for the fastest LMP3 right now. When I go looking back through GT3 land, I'm seeing 237s as a tie. And that is between Nick Alvarado, Gab Chavez, and Sean Sullivan. So, quick cars, especially when you compare GT3 and LMP3 lap times, or speed trap time, speed trap values. Lee Wu currently 7/10 back, and it looks like Jack Wilkins.
We got Bowen off. We have Bowen off, and he almost took out Ledbetter.
Yeah. We were watching it right there, and I almost missed it. Let's take a look back at this a little bit and see if we can slow it down. I'm going to hit a slow-mo real quick. So it just hits the curbing on the inside, I think, and self-spins
Loses it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We're right along with him. I don't know what exactly happened here.
Yeah, I'm still waiting to see when the back end wants to step out.
There it is. It is
There it
over-rotating. Yep. And then he locks up the brakes. And it spins. He catches it more or less using the gravel to kind of keep the car from rotating further. Peels it out.
Yep.
And Jaden Ledbetter has to abandon the line and take the off track to avoid hitting him. So that is all what happens there. Michael Lively having to check up and run the grass line as well to get around both of them. Jaden Ledbetter not wanting to give up that position. Holds on to it going into turn one. It's Mike Bowen now defending from Chris Turner, trying to get back up to the front of the order as we get into this last round of pit stops.
There's a few more that have come in. I've seen pit stops from Rodrigo Souza. He's been in the pits. Nathaniel Redmond getting passed by Gian Cardoso as he continues his charge up the order. 2 seconds now, by the way, between or 3 seconds between. Nope, keeps updating. I'm gonna let it sit for a minute.
Okay.
It just keeps growing. Like the number just keeps going up. It's like okay. I think it's 8 seconds maybe between him and Tanner Schiffner now, or is it 2? I can't tell. It just keeps fluctuating too much. It's 2. Okay, cool.
2.89.
Making sure.
Yeah, you're good. It's 2.89, and then it's 8.6 from Tanner Schiffner to Tyler Twilliger, as Lee Wu and a couple others have come in for their pits. Lee Wu on the jacks for 8 seconds, 8.43.
Yeah.
Or in the box, I'll probably say. I don't think they're going up on jacks. I think they're just in the box. Come to a halt, slap the fuel in, rip the fuel out, send her off. Bruno Clemente now trying to take the fight or defend from Tommy Kogan, who ran out of fuel earlier. A bit of a recovery drive. Let's take a look back at this battle for the lead, which now involves Mike Bowen and some of the more awkward corners is with the GT3 and LMP3 is there's really not that much speed difference.
It's tough. Sean Sullivan just holding that outside line as the LMP3s move through. They can carry a little bit more speed than him. Nobody else is pitted yet, as we are currently 56 minutes into this race.
Yeah, we got 13 minutes to go in the race.
Is it a one-stopper for everyone?
I don't think it's going to be.
There's going to be some last-minute stops, I feel, because
there's got to be some splashes.
I know Jaden is on 16 laps on his stint. Same with Michael Lively, so they might be able to make it on one. With 12 minutes left to go, that's roughly 6 to 10 laps.
Yeah, it's close.
That'd
feels like
be
it's close.
tight.
Yeah.
That'd be really tight.
The math says it's possible if they're only, if we're only 16 laps into their second stints.
Right.
As they did. They came in on lap 23 for each of them, 24 for Mike Bowen. So I think Mike Bowen probably has the most fuel to burn.
Correct.
David Coulson. Oh my gosh. Eduardo Zamora trying to get around David Coulson in the middle of this. Chris Turner trying to get through both of them.
Oh, 3 wide on exit.
Yeah,
Absolute cinema.
Mike Bowen having a pretty large margin grow between him and Michael Lively. I think the traffic has been kinder to both the cars in front of him than cars behind him. Tommy Kogan looking to get around Bruno Clemente. This is for 6th, I believe, in GT3.
Austin Green is in. David Coulson is in.
Okay.
Getting the feeling David Coulson's taking tires. He's been in pit lane for more than 24 seconds.
Yeah, I'm getting that feeling as well.
Milo is in the 81 in LMP3. Austin Green is out after 10 seconds on Jax.
All right. So definitely a quick splash and dash with only 10 minutes left to go. I think it is very much just here's enough fuel to get you across the line. Bruno Clemente going defensive from Tommy Kogan, coming back around. As Tommy doesn't bite, stays with him.
I know what cars I'm watching relative to the fuel battle. I am watching Scott Fleming and I am watching Kyle Potter.
Gotcha.
Scott Fleming drove the longest of anyone, 25 laps.
Word.
If we see Scott Fleming go into the pit, I'm pretty sure most people are doomed.
That or Mark Coyne.
Right.
As Mark Coyne also.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Ethan Hamlet.
Ethan is popping into the pits.
Yeah, Ethan's in the pit. That's going to be quick. So Nick Alvarado hit it on lap 22. But he's really going to be deep into the race. Ethan Hamilton stationary for 7.3 seconds. That's a quick one.
That's moving.
Fast.
37.3 seconds full pit lane travel time. That's nuts. That is nuts. That is almost 30 minutes exactly for the driving part of a pit stop. That is wild.
Tommy Kogan still trying to get around Bruno Clemente.
Jack Wilkins sitting on 14 off tracks.
Oh. Super curious if we'll have drive-thrus from any of these drivers, especially how close these are.
Nathaniel Redmond is in the pits.
And the lead of the race.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting to see.
Tanner Schiffner pitted on lap 20 for GT4s, so I think he's going to have to maybe pull the trigger on the next one.
I think so. Tyler Troville also following in behind Nathaniel Redmond.
12 seconds for Redmond on 13.7 seconds on the pit stop for Redmond.
Gotcha.
That feels a little longer.
Oh, it's long.
Mm-hmm.
That is a long stop because it's 10 seconds for Troville. And here comes McLean in blue back to back into the pits.
And blue. Yep, both of them in. This is for the lead
By the way,
of GT4 AM.
Somebody who pitted on lap 31, who has 2 stops to the good, is William Lewis
Well, remember
and
William.
Dan Witzak.
Remember William Lewis also spun and broke the wing.
Ah,
off.
yes. So did Witzak. I remember
Yes.
that now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So unfortunately, I think that is not a good indicator. I think William Lewis might have enough to make it to the end, but it's got to be a tight margin.
Michael Bowen with a 25.05 for the fastest lap of the race.
Well, Bowen trying to make his way back up the order. Ben Ledbetter only 0.05 slower on his best lap. Whole half a second slower on his last lap. Stephen McLean 2 seconds behind Christopher Blue, 54 AM.
So
Could Jaden be saving fuel?
the question is, can Jaden save fuel and get to the end? Can Tanner Schiffner save fuel and get to the end?
Less than 7 minutes remain on the clock.
I think it's going to come down to that pit stop strategy at the front end of LMP3 and the front end of GT4 Pro.
Michael Lively in from the top four. Chris Turner following him in, because they're both unable to make it. They were the ones that pit earliest on the first set of fuel pit stops on lap 22. So I'm guessing, unless they did a lot of fuel saving this time by, Jaden Ledbetter, Mike Bowen, Scott Fleming, at least Jaden Ledbetter, maybe Scott Bowen, Mike Bowen, and Scott Fleming will both have to come in as well.
Shifter's in the pits, and he had 27.7 seconds on the jacks. So
that was on his last one. His is about to start.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. It confuses me too because I see the end time ticking up, but the other one is stationary.
Yeah,
but that's okay. We're about to find out. BBS is in the pit.
Yes, also in the pit lane. Tanner Schiffner almost made contact with the pit lane wall on the entry. Gab Chavez also diving into pit lane.
Still going. Oh, 8.6 on the jacks. For Schiffner.
5 seconds faster.
Where is he going to come out?
Nathaniel Redmond's currently coming across down the start-finish stretch. Tanner Schiffner is going to end up a few seconds ahead.
Oh.
3 seconds in closing. But the 5 seconds he built up there is seeming to go in his favor. As these two get back out underway for the final closing minutes of the lap.
That's crazy, dude.
Hasn't come in yet.
That is crazy. 5 seconds. Oh, wow. Man, that is a lot of time to be leaving on the table when you had a 3 second lead.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, he ends up about 2.5 seconds behind, which maths out. And then
Alvarado's in the pits.
Yep. Alvarado's in the pits. We're about to see if another pit stop, how that goes down.
Let's see how long he's in there. Fuel only for Alvarado. And Hamlet coming out the second, 2 hairpins.
7 seconds on the jacks for Alvarado.
Yeah, I think Alvarado's got it.
Yeah, still well ahead of Ethan Hamlet. Brendan Vincent Squibb still sitting in pit lane. Jack Wilkins sliding into pit lane this time by. Jaden Ledbetter. Seeing if he is in the green or if he needs to pit.
Less than 4 minutes.
Ooh, he dives in to pit lane with 4 minutes to go. Mike Boeing, Scott Fleming. Still.
What's Fleming doing? Fleming staying out.
Yeah, both Mike Boeing and Scott Fleming staying out. Jaden Ledbetter into pits for the final time. 4 minutes left. Michael Lively coming through the second hairpin at the moment of the third technical sector. Seeing where he comes out. Jaden on the box for a 10th faster than Michael Lively. So we'll probably see him end up about a second or two ahead. Or about closer to 4 or 5.
fast.
This is these pit stops, man. I think they are going to make a bigger impact than people might have realized on a short track like this.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It's been, I think, the name of the game that I think Mike Bowen and Scott Fleming are both playing.
Bruno Clemente just got into David Coulson a little bit, spun him a little bit, but no harm, no foul.
Well, he's still going the right direction. So Nick Alvarado about to pass both Tommy Kogan and Bruno Clemente. So the rest of the GT Field 3 is all pretty spread out. The rest of the drivers here for GT3. Working my way back up the order. Paul Miles trying to take the fight to Jack Wilkins. Jack Wilkins having a bit of a rough one today in terms of the off tracks. Mark Coyne is coming through his last couple corners now. I think if there's one that's going to do it on the one stop, I think it's
going to be Mark Coyne.
Yeah.
Right.
I think he's going to pull it off. We're less than 2 minutes. He's going to cross the line. The only thing that is, like, if he's praying to the strategy gods right now, it's going to be down to no bonus lap.
Yeah.
Word.
So Mike Bowen's going to have to come in, or not going to have to come in, but I think that's if he comes
It's close.
in. Yeah.
It's real close. Between him and Scott Fleming, it's going to be real close on fuel.
John Newman
But we're about to see.
fighting against Oscar Brown. Two cars that have been in a couple of mix-ups earlier in the race. Giancarlo.
Hats off to both of them for staying with it.
Yeah. Fantastic stuff for both of them. Oh my gosh, the LMP3s.
That was close.
Unique ways through it. Gian Cardoso trying not to get involved in this fight between Paul Miles and Jack Wilkins. John Newman lifting and letting everyone by just to keep his own race going in the right direction. He is still, what would be, I believe that is fourth in GT4 AM. Sorry, third. Fourth. Was third, now is fourth after Oscar Brown has passed by. And just taking a nice little easy line through the last couple laps. Daniel Redman trying to get back up to Tanner Schiffner, but also having to defend from Lee Wu, who was only half a second behind. Mike Bowen has stayed out.
Yep.
Take a quick
This
look
is
at
it.
the entries.
For him, this is it.
Gotcha.
Oh, we got someone that just went into a wall.
I think it was John Newman. I'll take a look at him in a moment. I'm trying to see where he's at with all this.
He's getting ready to go into the first of the dual hairpins, and we've got
Yeah,
an LMP3 on the track. Is that Gian Cardoso?
Yep.
Just letting him go?
I think so. I'm trying to figure out if I think Giancarlo's letting go to not have to do another lap. So this is the last time by for Mike Bowen.
Michael Bowman,
Yeah.
excuse me, Bowen is exiting.
He has just crossed the start
And
finish line.
yeah,
So he is
so Bowen
on-
with a win.
near the win, yep.
Man,
Scott Fleming coming home P2. A fantastic fuel strategy for both of them, giving them the win in P2. Jaden Ledbetter, a fantastic recovery drive from a slower start. And Michael Lively coming home fourth. Take a look at your official results here. Kind of looking at the last couple of fights on track. Lee Wu finishing 3/10 behind Nathaniel Redman, who has, I think, made friends with that outside tire barrier.
Yeah, he toasted it.
A fantastic win for Tanner Schiffner after a pretty difficult set of driving there. I believe Christopher Blue taking home, or will be taking home here in a moment, the checkered flag for GT4 AM in front of Stephen McLean. Excuse me. So with it, the last of the finishers get across the line. A rather chaotic race.
Yeah, we knew it would. We knew it was going to be a spicy meatball. We knew that Okayama was definitely going to be tough from a traffic management perspective. One thing I do want to say, I do want to give a massive shout out to the field. We had 39 people in this lobby. We finished with 36.
That's fantastic.
That's wild in terms of, especially on a track like this with that kind of traffic. So hats off to everybody who participated.
Can we focus on the people that are helping others around the track right now because they have Turner has ran out of gas?
That is hilarious.
Or something.
That is hilarious.
I believe Chris Turner is getting pushed by a GT4 AM. I'm not 100% on that. I'm not sure what's happening.
I mean, I think Chris Turner has claimed the checkered flag. So
I
don't know what's going on here. So I don't know.
Weird.
Here's the thing. I'm not going to get into anyone's like different strokes for different folks and all that stuff. But yeah, this is good stuff. This is good stuff. We should take a look at those results, man.
Over the backdrop of the results, Mike Bowen. We'll start with the LMP3. Mike Bowen taking home his first win of the season with Scott Fleming 4 seconds behind him, both of them doing fantastic fuel saves to come out well into the kind of winner's circle and top of the podium there. Jaden Ledbetter and Michael Lively coming home third and fourth, both of our first two that had to make the two stops. Chris Turner, who we have here with us alongside, I think that's Paul Miles, all diving into pit lane there. Alongside Mark Coyne for 5th and 6th. 7th, Paul Miles, who I just spoke about. 8th, Jack Wilkins, Gian Cardoso, and Brandon Vincent Squibb, who parked it on pit lane for the second fuel stop and called it a day. So a fantastic set. Only 2 cars not on the lead lap of those. I'd say of those that finished and took the checkered flag is a fantastic result for the LMP3 field, I want to say.
Yeah.
So
it's a big deal.
So, absolutely. GT3s. Phil, how are we looking there?
All right. So we're going to get to look at these results while not watching to see how sports cars are born. So Nick Alvarado on top of GT3 with a commanding, I want to say a commanding showing from Nick Alvarado. Now, had really good pace, extended to an 11-second lead on Ethan Hamlin. Ethan Hamlin having to move back through the field after a pretty bad start in the heat race. So second place finish for Ethan is a pretty good consolation prize for the start of that heat race. Gab Chavez in third with Kyle Potter in fourth place. We had Sean Sullivan, who was kind of all over, but managing to squeak by with a 5th place finish. So good result for him. Bruno Clemente is going to come across in 6th. That's probably not the result that Bruno wanted, but he is going to finish ahead of Tommy Kogan. So maybe going to keep that fight in GT3 going with Tommy Kogan in 7th and Retro Coffin retiring the car, the Coral Cove Porsche, early on in the feature race.
Fantastic. Logan, GT4 Pro. Where's that?
GT4 Pros. Wow, that is really unclear on my screen. We got Tanner Schiffner brought it home. Nathaniel Redmond came in 2nd. Lee Wu came in 3rd. Tyler Torville came in 4th. Garcia in 5th. Green in 6th. Wizak in 7th. Zamora in 8th. Matt Pyle in 9th. Jameson Lekabeni is in 10th. Then we have David Colson, Stephen Wallace with the shutdown, unfortunate shutdown, and Kieran Davidson, who stopped damn near 6 laps into the race.
I think one of our others who did not take the checkered flag as a result of, I think, either an issue or calling it a day after an incident early on, if I remember correctly.
Right.
For Kieran. So, with that, last but certainly not least, Our GT4 AM. Christopher Blue coming home with the win after a fantastic fuel stop, getting him a little bit more time to Stephen McLean. Stephen McLean coming home second. William Lewis in third. I think William Lewis would have had an easy win here if not for the unfortunate spin and the wing falling off as a result. Oscar Brown taking home a fantastic P4 after his litany of incidents that I don't think any of which were his fault, unfortunately, but a rough race for him nonetheless. Rodrigo Souza, Mark Robeson, John Newman, and Todd Tourville all take home the checkered flag in the 8 cars that finished out GT4 AM. So, with that, we come to, I believe, the end of the broadcast. Phil, what was your big takeaway from this week?
I mean, we've really got to focus on those pit stops, man. That right there, at least for the feature race, that was, I think, a big deciding factor for some of the folks on track.
Mm-hmm.
I think Nathaniel Redmond is probably going to be thinking about that in relation to the win with Tanner Schiffner in GT4 Pro. That was pretty big. So yeah, I think pit stops are going to be one. I mean, there were other pit stop battles that did not work out for some folks. And then the other thing is that I'm just going to go take a look real quick at the schedule, because the other theme that I think we're going to really have to hold on to is going to be traffic management, because we're going to Interlagos next. And with a field of, I mean, if we field 39 cars with these classes at Interlagos, that intersector is going to be an absolute traffic jam. So people are going to have the heads on a swivel.
Good.
And the broadcaster pick is going to deliver, ladies and gentlemen. You want to be there next week for that. But those are my big takeaways there, Finn.
Fantastic. Logan, your big takeaways from this lovely race here at Okayama?
Oh, the chaos made for great racing. Short tracks are always the best. It's a technical track, so it just gives the best racing. There was stuff going on at all times, and it was just fantastic. Interlagos is going to be a lot, so I'll be interested to see how that's going to go.
Fantastic. My biggest takeaways, as I knock things over, pulled off the pot last P4. Fantastic stuff there. Oscar Brown over in the chat. I think my biggest takeaway, I think I'm echoing what you both said. I think seeing, 7 out of the 10 LMP3s we had this week finish on the lead lap. Fantastic stuff. I'm super stoked to see how that level of, driver skill and consistency for all of them develops further throughout the season. And the how this, I think that's going to be super interesting. I'm super curious how the GT3 field develops as well. Kind of, I think, our most spread out field out of all of them. I'm curious to see if that will remain or tighten up at all. But other than that, any final thoughts from the both of you before we call this an evening?
No, I'm good. That was a fun night.
Yeah, it was a good race. It was very exciting. I was I was just happy to get to see us race at Okayama. I thought Okayama delivered in terms of excitement. I'm really going to be I think I'm really going to be looking forward to Interlagos. I think Interlagos is going to be I think it's going to be a pretty good show. I think the season is kind of firing on all cylinders, and I'm glad to see that. And just a shout out to everybody who tuned in and everybody who participated, because you guys make this all possible. And we've got a follow from Evo Kexo. So shout out to Evo for the follow.
Fantastic.
It's good stuff. I'm really excited for next week.
I am as well.
Can I
what you got?
Add in to all the fathers out there? Happy Father's Day. Enjoy your
Mhm.
days with your families. Have fun.
I know we had a good number of, well, not all of ours, but a good number of father-son combos out there on the track this evening. So happy Father's Day to all of you who are fathers or who have fathers in your life to spend time with. It's always a fun day. So with that,
Mhm.
I think we'll wrap up the coverage here this evening. I've been Fen alongside Logan and Phil. And if you want to be part of this action, check out the Discord. We're going to be rating. Who are we rating, Phil?
Rating Nocturnal Gaming, who is actually new to iRacing. He's in his MX5s,
Fantastic.
and boy, he's trying to get through the rookies.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
So
God.
everybody jump in and say hello to Nocturnal and say welcome. Also, stick with it. It gets better. MX5s are not your eternity. But anyway, so that's who we're going to rate.
Fantastic. We'll raid them in just a second. But thank you all very much for watching. We'll see you all next week in 7 days, not next week in 2 weeks, like I said last week. Next week, as in 7 calendar days, for Interlagos, another 20 minutes and 70 minutes before we take a nice long break to go do some more iRacing officials and all this other sort of fun stuff over the month of July. And then we'll come back for our mid-season special at Road America in a few weeks' time after that. If you want to be a part of the action, check us out on Discord. The exclamation part Discord into the chat will get you the link. We have waitlists available for LMP3 GT4. If you want to be a part of this action, we will try to get you in as we have the lovely kind of cycle through people and get you some racing here. For those of you who are not, and for all of these that are here, stick around. We got some more fantastic stuff like tonight. So anyhow, enjoy, have fun with the raid. We'll see you then.
Good night.
Night.
Hey, I did the thing.
And we're rated.
Wee.
Yay.
For all of you that stuck around to listen to this, have fun. Have fun with this because I haven't hit the button yet.